All right, guys. So today is CPI inflation day to day. We got the biggest report of the week coming out, which is today. Let me see if we got any. I don't think we have anything else. Let me drink some coffee too. So yeah, today we got CPI, Empire State Manufacturing Index data as well. CPI expected at 0.3%. 2.9% year over year. It is expected to bump up a little bit for both core and regular year over year. Last time regular CPI showed up at 2.7%, so lower than expected. Today they're expecting 2.9% on regular CPI. Core CPI expected at 3.3%. So not really. That expectation alone isn't good, right? So that expectation alone ain't good. And yeah, today, let's see what we get. I'll put that up on screen. It's one of our biggest streams of the month, really. Oh, we broke 153K. Thanks so much. We'll have to do a poll today as well. Alright, guys. Yesterday so choppy. I told you guys it would be choppy. It was the day before CPI and PPI data. Hey, what's up, Lost? Hi, Mark. What's up, UFC Shorts? What's up, Ray? All right, so we got Mark, Taker, UFC, ER, EM, Ray, Lost, Enzo, Sura, Game, Oro, Justin, Nobody, Delfino, Michael, Craig, Cal, Beach Bum, Alberto, Baby, John 316, DPM, Crypto, Robert, Bunny, Justin, Pog. What's up, guys? Good morning. Hope you guys are doing good today. Oh. It's cold over here, man. It really is cold. Let me drink some coffee. Brother, what's going to happen to crypto markets with CPI data? It depends on what the data shows up as, to be honest. Market opens up. A little bit less than 2.5 hours. 37 or 73 is better than me, man. What's up, Free? Jason. All right, guys. Let me do a poll here. Are you bullish or bearish on today's CPI report? I used a new bull emoji yesterday. I'm trying to see if it'll work. Hold on. That's a buffalo. Oh well. Are you bull or bear today? Vote on the poll. Bitcoin at 97. Gold pumping up. Q is up a little bit to 507s, but you can kind of see yesterday we had a little bit of red action. now that we're starting to rebound back. It was a pretty choppy day for most stuff, though. Like, most stuff was flat. Let me pull up Discord pod. My bad, man. Hold on, let me. All right, so the big news today is that the U.S. SEC is suing Elon Musk over late disclosure of Twitter stake. So Elon Musk was sued on Tuesday by the U.S. SEC, which accused the world's richest person of waiting too long to disclose in 2022 that he had, taken a big stake in Twitter, social media company he later ended up purchasing. In a complaint filed by Washington, D.C. federal courts, the SEC said that Elon broke federal security law by waiting over 10 days to disclose his original purchase of 5% of Twitter's common shares, end quote. So yeah, Meta is also going to cut roughly 5% of their staff, and they're targeting lowest performers in that cut. Microsoft is halting hiring in the U.S. Consulting unit as cost-cutting measure. And over the last couple months, with inflation being a fear, layoffs have helped companies, and I think that's probably what Meta's thinking here. Meta gapping up a little bit, Microsoft doing, dropping on at the end of the day yesterday. So we'll see what happens. Microsoft at 416, so maybe we got some good purchases here. Here's Target. I'm wondering if I should buy more Target. All right, looking at our poll, 68% are bullish, 67% are bullish. Out of over 100 votes in about a minute, 33% are bearish. Well, today's CPI report's more influential than yesterday's PPI report, so I don't know what we're going to get in terms of reaction. I really don't. Ugh. I'm going to get the sleep out of my eye. I'm awake. I mean, we don't want CPI to come in high, I don't think. I think the market's going to negatively react if it does. Yeah, I'm going to put a timer up here. You're right. All right, so we got like an hour and 19 and a half minutes or so. Would you rather the timer in the middle or on the left side at the top? Let me know. Prediction: stock market will go up or down today. If we sell off significantly more, do you think we're in an even deeper correction or crash? I mean, no, I don't think we're in a crash or correction at all. I think that so far we've dropped about 6%, 7%. So that's not even technically a correction yet, let alone a crash. Now, if we crash, we crash, right? But I don't necessarily think we will. We might. I don't know. It depends on what the data shows up as, and I really don't know. I know I'm still not interested in buying up stuff, and I think we've corrected about 6% already. But technically, it's not a correction until 10% is the reason I said we haven't corrected yet. So, like, bears are acting like we've had some crazy bad drops, but to me, they look like mostly cool-offs. Like, if we look at this here, again, we've dropped from 539 to 505. Percentage-wise, it's roughly 6%. Yeah, that's roughly 6%. So we've dropped 6% from highs on the NASDAQ, right? But the NASDAQ is moving a little bit more anyway. If we put up the SPY here, we've dropped from 609 to 580s. So, I mean, the SPY has only dropped 4.7%. So, yeah, we're not even in correction crash territory yet. We got to do double this to be a correction. We also have some news that Wells Fargo said profit from its customer bank from home lending rose to $854 million in the fourth quarter from $839 million a year ago, while profit from credit card lending rose to $1.489 billion from $1.449 billion a year ago. And this is WFC. They're gapping up a little bit on this news. We also have some JP Morgan news. JP Morgan's commercial and investment bank business sees its biggest growth. It saw revenue climb 17.5% to $17.6 billion, which is a large improvement from the 8% growth in quarter 3. It was its fastest growing segment by far, as the largest consumer and community banking segment's revenue was up 1.5% to $18.36 billion, and asset and wealth management revenue increased to over 13% to $5.78 billion. So bank earnings came out this morning, remember? So bank earnings came out this morning. Mortgage rates came out today too, and mortgage rates showed up over 7% for the first time in a while. This is an interesting number here. So look at this. So 30-year rates showed up over 7%. Look at the 30-year rate today. Last time it showed 6.99. It is all the way back up to over 7 now. 6.99 to over 7 now. So yeah, 30-year rates up big. You know, and this is what, like, I think a lot of people, and I thought the Fed would be more dovish and we would get lower rates. And dovish is better for me as a real estate owner. But the rental property will pay for itself over time. It doesn't matter. And so, yeah, the rental property will pay for itself. It doesn't matter. And this is kind of necessary. We need to see some cooling in these markets. We really do. But, you know, I see a lot of people, a lot of lenders that are just unhappy, right? They're you know, if you ever hear the people that are just screaming crash sometimes, like talking about crash, 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 and they're getting emotional and they're yelling and they're getting mad and all this stuff. Usually some of them are lenders, because lenders want the market to correct, right? Like they want the market to come down. They want weakness in the economy as well, because that will signal more of a need to cut rates so that they can sell more mortgages when rates are low, is the nuance there. And that's something you see. But 30-year rates over 7% today, over 7%. I'm sure yields are probably up more, right? Let's see, TNX. Yeah, yields are at 4.8% for bonds. Hey John, what happened on past CPIs? Well, the last CPI report, I think StreamYard crashed, and so I stopped using StreamYard. I started using OBS. It was honestly one of the best decisions that could have happened, because I think I have less latency on OBS. It's cleaner. It's 1080p 60 FPS now. Like, if you notice, my streams are now 1080p 60 FPS. When they were on StreamYard, they weren't. So the last CPI report's when I switched over to. I think it was the last one. It might not be, but yeah, we switched over. Yeah, we're running on a pretty good green streak on Top Step X here, and again, we're gonna do the same thing. We're also gonna be on Top Step TV today, so. Yeah, so here's our actual funded account stats, dude. We're doing pretty good, man. Like, we had a flat day yesterday. We should have attacked it. Is CPI the one you keep guessing, right? Yeah, CPI is. So what do you think happens if CPI comes in as predicted? Well, that's technically a neutral reading. I'm not sure. Bro, what are your thoughts, bull or bear? I don't know. It depends on what the inflation data shows up as. John, what do you think about gold for this CPI report? I think gold's interesting because it's a hedge against inflation, and inflation's a big fear. So If CPI shows up high, gold might be a hedge and go up, but who knows? It's kind of like the Dixie, right? The Dixie will probably move up if the market, if inflation is higher. Yeah, so we got almost 600 people here already. You love to see it, man. People are tuning into my streams. You love to see it. Definitely one of the top 3 biggest YouTubers ever right now in the finance space. All right, guys. Oh, coffee tastes good, man. All right, yeah, looking at our poll numbers here. Hey, what's up, Goose? Always, bro. I might be quiet sometimes, but when I'm working, I always tune into your stream. Hey, thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. Feels good, man. It feels good, dude. It feels good to grow this channel. And, you know, like, it's interesting running a YouTube channel. It really is, man. Like, so much of your, like, I'm not going to say happiness because I've been running the channel long enough to where, like, I'm happy regardless, dude. Like, I've made enough money and saved enough money from this YouTube channel to where, like, regardless, I'd be happy. But it feels good to have, like, a good community, right? I think we're genuinely a good community, right? I don't really like drama. I try not to push drama. I try never mention names. Anything I'm critical of, I never really mention names or attack anybody, like, specific. You know, we don't claim to be experts. We don't sell courses. We don't give people bad advice. I think we're a good community, you know? And that's rare, man. That's rare, so... I appreciate the love, guys. Thanks so much. How much does analyst buy ratings such as overweight or underweight factor into your decision-making process when choosing stocks to invest in? Almost no. Like, I almost look at no analyst ratings at all, Thomas. They're too biased, right? Like, they're too biased depending on their firm's holdings and, like, all this stuff and, like, their holdings. They're just too biased, honestly. When I look at something, whether some of the best stocks, I'll put it this way, some of the best buy opportunities I've gotten involved with were predicted to be bad by analysts, right? Like, I bought Target, one of my best buys still, I think. I bought Target the last time it dipped down to 100, right around, let me put a weekly chart up. I bought Target right here. And I think at the time, people were acting like it was a dumpster fire. I bought Target, like, right there. I bought United Airlines, and I kind of talk about these a lot, but they're you know, they're easy to talk about because we were just riding them. I don't know why it only. I wish TOS, they need to update their software so that I can freaking like save these settings. Like I'd love to save my time frame settings, because if not, every time I restart my computer, it makes me reset it. But anyways, I bought United Airlines here, literally there. And so every time I bought these, people told me they were basically a dumpster fire. And I was like, no, I think they're cheap. I think these are good companies. I think they're not going to fail. And my logic behind all these is like, none of these companies are going to fail, right? Target's not going to fail. United Airlines is going to fail. Not only do their business numbers not justify the weakness, but the government wouldn't let most of these companies fail, especially not United Airlines, you know? And so at the time, this was right after 2020, everything was crashing down. Like some of my best buys went against analysts' ratings and expectations. And so I usually just ignore it all. I make my own picks here. But I also look at a number of different things, and you gotta learn to look at a number of different things. Like you gotta look at EPS, revenue, not only historical, like the trailing 12-month EPS, revenue, PE ratio, but the guidance, the future outlook for those things as well. That's something you look at. There's just a lot of stuff you got to look at. You got to look at, I always do I used to talk about this a lot more, but I always do kind of a thought experiment anytime I buy something long term. And the thought experiment basically goes, how much is this up short term? Like over the last 5 to 10 years, how much is this up? How new is this company's success? If it's really new, I don't buy it, right? If it's been around for a long time and it's something that isn't going to be rendered obsolete because of technology, if obsolescence isn't a worry, then I'm okay with buying it usually, as long as I can hold it long enough. If it's something that recently over the last 5 years made huge like gains, like it's up huge over the last 3 or 4 years, and there's the potential for technology to like render it obsolete, I won't touch it usually. Within reason, like sometimes I will. There's always outliers, but yeah. Bears clapped? Yeah, I mean, in these instances, they were. People got weird with me when I bought some of this stuff, too. It was one of those periods of time where we had already dropped so much that, to me, like, I think I talked about this yesterday, but we've only had a couple times in history where we've had more than one red year in a row, right? So when we had this big, brutal red year, and it was, man, this big, brutal red year here freaked a lot of people out in 2022. When we did that, my logic was like, hey, we've had a red year. Even if we do downtrend for another year, I can DCA into it. I'm still going to be fine. But the odds are in my favor starting to buy it here, right? Like after this pullback, starting to buy it here, the odds in my favor of buying up a lot of stuff. And I bought up United Airlines, MGM, a bunch of different stuff. I made videos about it too. Like, look, I'll show you. Hold on. It was kind of a side channel that we don't even use anymore. Like, we don't even do this channel anymore. But yeah, like, look. I'll show you the date. Yeah, check it out. Oh, no, actually, it was here. I'm sorry. It was right here. So, yeah. It was at 5:20. So, this was right here. I'll show you where it was for United Airlines. Yeah. This is one of the ones that got tanked from it, right? So, it was right here. You see this bubble right here? I still have it up, actually. Look. This is where it was right here. That's where I bought United Airlines. And again, you can kind of see it. This is an old channel that I don't really use anymore. But just to show you guys. Yeah, but look, so why I am buying United Airlines stock, UAL stock here, right? May 25th, 2020, right? So again, that was literally here. And dude, it kind of shows you how YouTube goes, right? So like I published this video talking about how I'm buying up not just United Airlines, but I'm buying up MGM. Like, look, this is when I used to make videos. I bought up MGM down here. Again, this was like 520. So right here, I bought up MGM right here. Like, look, right here. Right, I bought up a couple different things, and dude, I published this video. I got so much hate for it originally, right? Like I published this video, bears showed up in the comments, and they just told me I was the dumbest person ever. They told me that the picks were the worst ever, all this different stuff, that they were never gonna work, that I was stupid, that the picks were garbage, that like all this different stuff. And then within a week, right? Within a week, the market had done this. Within a week, the market had like started to rip up. It didn't do all this, but within a week, the market had done like this, right? And very, very quickly, they went and they deleted all the comments, and crickets showed up. And I remember even leaving another comment being like, "Hey guys, how you feeling now?" And then they just didn't say anything. And so people make, like, I try to say this at least once every month, but people will make fun of your picks. People will make fun of your buys. Those are usually the worst, like newest rookie traders that do that, because like I might like a pick, dislike a pick, like a buy, dislike a buy, whatever it is, right? Like I might like it or dislike it depending on what it is, but I'm never gonna make fun of it, right? I'm never gonna like act like I'm superior just because I dislike something that y'all are buying, because I might be wrong. And experienced traders again recognize that nobody freaking knows. You know, that's something that experienced traders recognize. New traders don't, and it's because they haven't been around long enough to feel the variance that you get from stocks and finance. Absolutely true. I've gained, from here, dude. I've gained weight here. Like I was little here. Yeah, when I'm looking at it, like I was skinny. Like look at my arms. Like, this was 4 years ago. I remember I was having like stomach problems in this period of time. Right, so like I was having like stomach problems. Like look. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't need to show you again, but I was having stomach problems. My arms were small. I could see it. Like, look at how small my arms were. Like, they were small. Like, I remember I wasn't skinny. Like, I was probably like 150 pounds. I mean, I was skinnier for sure. But I've probably gained 30 pounds since then, give or take, you know. Somebody saying recession is here. Now that's a silly comment, brother. Listen, dude, do you really think... Oh, okay. Tell me you don't understand, like, economics without telling me you don't understand economics. Are you really saying... Are you trolling me, brother? Do you really think we got a recession? I mean, I'm not going to make fun of you too much. I have no freaking idea. Maybe I'm wrong. But do you understand what a recession is? Like, stocks dropping does not equal a recession, brother. I always try to teach people this because people have these stereotypes in their mind about, like, what a recession is. Stocks could drop every day for a month and it wouldn't mean anything regarding a recession, right? A recession is a very specific macroeconomic event, you know, and what it is 2 consecutive losing GDP quarters. The last GDP report was 3.1%, I think. It was like over 3, which is very strong GDP growth, right? In fact, the economy has been strong enough to make inflation a worry and fear to where the market's reacting negatively to strong economic data. That's how strong the economy has been, because it fears the labor market's strength, not weakness. And so we are absolutely not in a recession. We are actually in the opposite of a recession, which means that the labor market's so strong that people are fearing inflation, which is what happens when we're in the opposite of a recession. You got two different states that to understand it, right? You got two different states. One of them is a recession. It's weak economy. It's weak economy, right? If the economy is weak, if it's losing GDP, if unemployment and payroll numbers are coming in high and low, if payroll numbers are low and unemployment's high and GDP is weak, and we have 2 consecutive losing GDP quarters, some people interpret it as also high unemployment, right? Right now we have none of that. Right now unemployment's low, GDP is strong, payroll numbers are 256,000 for the last month. Right, and so we're just nowhere near a recession. Again, I'm not sure if the election year last year, kind of biased people in that way to make them think that somehow we're in a recession, but we're not. We're in the opposite of a recession right now. The economy is always at the strongest point right before the recession starts. Maybe, but even in that regard, right, like in order for us to go to a recession right now, we would have to see, like, I would say at least 3 to 4 quarters of weak GDP action, right? We're not going to go from 3 to 0, We're just not. We're not going to go from 3 to 0% GDP in 3 quarters, rather. And so even if this is the start, it would still be a year until we'd see anything like that, and I just don't think that's the case, right? We're at the point now where the Federal Reserve is hawkish, meaning they want to restrict the economy a little bit because inflation is a fear. I'm from India and don't understand your fast English. Please say your point of view. I don't know. I don't know whether we're going to go up or down. I know I speak a little fast. My apologies. I don't know whether we're going up or down. I genuinely don't know. That's not really what my channel here on YouTube does. We're just going to react. So we'll show you what the economic data is, what to expect with it, how to interpret it, and what to look for. But we're not going to make any big, bold predictions. My whole thing is, like, I don't claim to be an expert. I'm not a guru. I don't sell courses. I don't even claim to be a good trader. And really, we just cover economic data in real time for free here and give people like a free resource for trading in economics. So like that's what we do here. But we're certainly not going to make any like crazy predictions for pump or dump because we don't know what we're going to get. We don't know if the market's going to go up, down, or sideways, bro. Hey, what's up, Sam? Yeah, 2 consecutive losing GDP quarters is a recession, sure, but we're not there. We just don't have that. It's just not what we're in. All right? Unemployment's under 4.5%. GDP's over 3%. Payrolls are over 200,000 in the last month. Like every metric you can think of shows that we're not in one. Yeah, data's coming out at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. There's a big timer in the top right. Yes, Christian, but I think it'll be close. I was talking to some jiu-jitsu guys about it yesterday. I think it'll be close. Go to the link in the description, Joe, or you can go to this link right here. I'll put it up. But yeah, I think it'll be close. Again, if you want to check them out, always remember, guys, I'm one of the top 3 worst traders ever in the world. Do not copy me. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. I have no freaking idea what I'm talking about. Sometimes I do trade off stream. Sometimes I lose off stream, and you might not see it or watch it. Understand CFTC 4.41, hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations. But yeah, if you want to check out Top Step, it's a great way to learn how to day trade with limited risk. Most day traders lose. A lot cheaper to lose on Top Step. If you pass it, though, you get funding. If you fail it, it's a lot cheaper usually than funding your own account. It's going to cost about the same as a demo account, but they give you a 50K demo. If you can hit 3K without losing 2K first following their rules, they fund you 50K, 90% split. The big edge on Top Step X is 0 commission. So if you sign up, I would use Top Step X because there's literally 0 commission there. And it's very similar to day trading stocks. You can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. Most pro day traders trade futures. They've paid out almost $200 million since 2020. Wait, what'd you do, Tom? Oh, all good. Oh, you already posted it. Okay, all good. Yeah, here, just go to the one pawn posted above. That's all good. Yeah, no, well, Makachev is just a different, like, he's just different, man. He's incredibly skilled, and I never bet against him, to be honest, including with, what's his name? Yeah, I'm really excited about this card. I didn't even watch the last one with Mackenzie Dern. I didn't even see it, but I'm excited about this one. Yeah, we got Makachev versus Arman. We got Marab versus Nurmagomedov. We got Hiri Prakaska versus Jamal Hill. That'll be a fun fight too. We got Beneil Dariush versus. This is gonna be a grappler's card for sure. We got Beneil versus Moicano. That'll be a grappler's fight. What else we got? We got Peyton Talbot. He's pretty good too. But yeah, this will be a grappler's card, dude. Because we got Moicano versus Darush. We've got Marab versus Nurmagomedov, and then we've got Makachev versus Sarkurian. That'll be a good card. I'm excited. I gotta go with Makachev though, right? Like, he's the easy one. Hey, thank you, Jeffrey, my guy. Thanks so much, brother. Yeah, there's a lot of news today. One of them is that Elon's getting sued by the SEC for the original stake he bought in Twitter before he finalized everything else. Goldman Sachs also put out their earnings here. I'm going to put some of these earnings that came out. Bank earnings came out today, chat. So here's Goldman Sachs. Right, so bank earnings dropped today. Goldman Sachs. We also had JP Morgan Chase. I'm going to put all these up in chat. There's JP Morgan Chase. We also had Wells Fargo. JP Morgan and Wells Fargo all up from it. Then we had a couple more. Bank of New York. There's Bank of New York. The other news that we had today, so again, we had BlackRock, BLK. Yeah, BLK's up a little bit. I love how calm I am at the moment. You're definitely one of the top 3 calmest people I've ever met ever in the world. Hot. Definitely bearish. I heard that in Ruby Rod's voice for some reason. Yeah. Yeah, Palantir all the way down to 66. Right now, 66. Did we put it in sub-only mode? Something I think has been helping my channel is as soon as I start the stream up, I've been immediately throwing it in sub-only mode. And I think that honestly helps. Again, today, inflation data drops 830, expected at 0.3%. It's expected at 2.9% year over year. I'm excited, man. We still got like almost an hour, 50 minutes left. Hmm. What are some cars that don't typically go down in price much? I know like Porsche GTSs or Porsche GT3s maybe. RS. But these things are like $500,000. What are the quarter mile times for this thing? 11 seconds. To be honest, man, I was thinking they'd be a little bit faster than this. I could buy a Tesla Plaid and beat this thing, you know. Oh, Corvettes definitely go down in price, especially the new ones. The problem is this, right? This is what happens. All right, is like the last like 3-4 years, Corvette has had their new model, the C8, right? The C8s have been out for the last few years, and they look great. I love the way the C8s look. They look beautiful cars, really, right? But now in 2025, they're doing a new one, right? So they're doing a 2025 one, and it's going to look better. It's going to be the new desired Corvette, right? So they're doing a new one now. And it's going to be whatever. It's the new Stingray, I think. And I think they're coming out with a new body style completely, but maybe not. But basically, the new one is going to be the desired one, and all the old ones are going to be less cool. Although the new ones, they might lower the price of the old ones now, with that said. Plaid beats almost anything. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but for 500K, though, like 500K for a new car, I'm going to expect it to do like 9 seconds. I think it's a track car. Porsches are track cars. Right, so they're not really meant to go. I mean, they're meant to go quarter mile fast and all, but they're kind of track cars. So they're meant to like go around a track well, you know, and that's kind of where the price is, I think. All right, chat. So we're going to try to go for our 7th green day in a row here. We're immediately going to set our settings here. Is it supposed to snow in our part of town next week? All right, guys. So again, CPI inflation data this week. CPI inflation data, guys. I'm excited, man. I'm wondering what it's going to do to markets. Up or down? Looking at our poll numbers, it's 60-40 out of 1,500 votes. $500,000 Ferrari? I wouldn't buy a Ferrari, though, to be honest. The reason I don't like Ferraris, there's a couple reasons, but number one, they just look less cool, right? Like, if I'm spending that much money on a car, that thing better look like a $500,000 car, right? And that's why people like the Corvettes so much, is because they look like that, but they're like 70, 80K, right? So they're relatively cheap for sports cars. But all that said, like, regardless of any of that, Ferrari is very picky about who they sell to, number one. Number two, they're not as fast as a lot of the other cars. I would rather buy like a 2018 Lamborghini, right? I can get one for like 160 to 170. And I'd rather just do that. Get a Huracan or something. Something looks like there's something wrong with this. I mean, I'm not gonna buy any of these just for reference. I'm just kind of window shopping right now. Ford GTs, man. Yeah, I wish, dude. Tesla 400. I'm just kind of window shopping here. I'm not even gonna buy none of these. All right, guys, we're going for our 5th green day in a row. 5th green day. And again, let me set my stats on here already. So I'm going to go ahead and set my risk stats. $200 liquidating block. Who? What's with this thing people keep saying that they see me in a Lamborghini and I have over 10 million? Dude, I wish I had $10 million. I mean, I've got some equity and, you know, some stuff, but 10 million's different. CPI is higher. I don't know if I don't think that's going to affect it very much, engineer. I think it could be higher, but I don't think it's from that. I think it could be higher because a lot of different reasons. Like we see the Federal Reserve pause next meeting at the end of this month. We also see mortgage rates shoot up over 7% today. So mortgage rates over 7%. They're getting high. Yeah, 10 million's different. Again, you could live off of 10 million very easily. Right, and here's the issue, right? Like, here's the real issue. Is like, I know somebody who basically wants to prove themselves so bad that they want to be able to manage, like, people's money and all this stuff. But the problem with somebody that really wants to prove themselves is that they end up taking greater risks than they need to take, right? If you have a large sum of money, right? Say you got $4 million, $4 mil, right? And let's say you take half of that. Wait, where's my calculator? Let's say, let's say you take half of that. I should have done 0.5, but I'm just going to draw it out. So you take half of that. You stick it in bonds, right? You stick it in guaranteed return bonds, right? Right now, you're going to make about 5% on guaranteed return bonds. You're going to make $100,000 a year just on $2 million, half of that money. $100K a year for the next 10 years, you could do that, right? You buy 10-year treasury bonds, you're going to make about 5% right now. You're going to make about $100K a year. Guaranteed, and then at the end of that 10-year period, you're gonna get your millions back. And then you can take the other 2 million. Then you can take 1.5, right? And you can stick it in the stock market. And they say you make 10% a year on average over the next 20 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You're gonna make about $10 million from 1.5 million in about 20 years. Right? You could live off of that very easily. So again, just to calculate that, and then you got an extra $500K in cash you can buy 2 rental properties with, and then just live off of that money, right? You're gonna have about $10 million over a 20-year period investing in markets, most likely around this. There's variance for sure, but then you got 500K. You know, you could buy 1 rental property, right? And then you could buy 1 rental property. And then keep 250K. That rental property will make you 1 to 2K a month as well, right? So pretty quickly, you're making 150,000 plus a year off of that $4 million, and you're gonna make so much more than that over time, anyway. And so, 10 million, you can multiply this number by 2x plus, and it's just, you can easily live off of that money if you manage your money correctly. The problem most people face is that they get $10 million, they get $5 million. They get excited, they buy a bunch of supercars, they buy a bunch of dumb, super expensive property tax houses, and the money just starts to chip away. They buy a bunch of nonsense that doesn't go up in value, and they end up just slowly losing all of it. And then at the end of it, they're like, hey, I had 10 million. What the heck happened? And it's like, well, you were financially irresponsible with it. It's what a lot of athletes do. To be honest, they're getting smarter though. Like they're getting more financially literate, and so they're doing better there too. I know one of the football players recently got paid in Bitcoin when Bitcoin was at like 10 or 20,000, I think, and he made a boatload of money from it. So there's ways, right? But point is, if I had $10 million, no offense, I would not be sitting here talking to you guys. I don't know what I'm talking about, cryogenic. I have no freaking idea what I'm talking about. Don't listen to me, bro. Don't listen to me. How much tax do you pay the U.S. for bond profits? Well, it's going to be capital gains regardless. So. Oh, most interest earned from bonds are exempt from income taxes. So, yeah. It's, oh, wait, these are municipal bonds. So maybe municipal bonds, I guess, sounds like the best. So just to put it into perspective, like municipal is related to a city or town. Like it's like your city's bonds. What about a more modest beginning of 20K? Well, I mean, 20K is good. It's all about just saving for retirement, right? So you got 20K. If you just invest it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. In 20 years, it'll turn into about 134,000. It's not going to be enough to live off of. I would recommend finding a better income source. And just continue to save, continue to throw money in. How can I get to a level of buying a car that expensive? Well, to buy a car, like let's just call it 200,000, you're gonna need 5 to 10 million, I would say, to do it comfortably. You might be able to do it outside of that, and there's certain instances that are better or worse. Like certain people are gonna be able to use those cars to like network, to create content around, like for business purposes. So they might be able to like they might have a better argument for buying that car when they necessarily don't have, 10 to 20 million. So it depends on the person. All right, guys, CPI inflation data dropping in 34 minutes exactly. 34 minutes. Yeah, in the end, I said this before, I'll say it again. When you buy stuff, right, it doesn't have to be everything. But when you pay for things, the logic of in your head, every time you make a purchase, a big purchase, does this go up in value over time? Right? When you buy real estate, that's usually true long term. When you buy stocks, that's usually true if you pick the right ones and you're holding long term. When you buy bonds, it's absolutely true. They go up in value. You make money from it. When you buy a lot of different things, gold typically goes up in value. Real estate, like I said, goes up in value, right? And so when you buy something, watches, like Rolex watches, right? Sometimes like they go up in value depending on if you buy the right one. Equity in companies can sometimes do this, right? Like you want to buy things that have a good chance of going up in value. Now, short term, there's always variance, meaning like anything you buy over the next 3, 4, 5 years, there's a chance that it's going to go down, right? Anything you buy. You could talk about the best stocks, the best real estate purchases, the best investments, gold. There's a good chance it might drop over the next 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years. But time heals a lot of wounds. Longer you hold it, the more likely you are to make money in it. And so your job is to just sit on it. Ideally, like you can build generational wealth. You hold those things forever. You buy stocks, you hold them throughout your family's generations, and they will build generational wealth if you're patient enough. The hard thing is that most people are not patient enough. Most people end up getting emotional. They say, oh, we're up 20%, let's sell. Oh, we're up 30%, let's sell, right? But really, you could be up thousands of percent long term if you just sit on it. And that's a hard thing for most people to do. What do you think 1 million will be in the S&P after 20 years? I mean, the formula is easy, guys. If you have a calculator, okay, if you want to subtract anything and see the compounding effects, both good and bad, on anything, right? We can do inflation. The compounding effects, you multiply it by the percentage that you want to see increased or decreased, right? So an example of this is like if I have $1 million, I write out $1 million, and I want to see how much compounding effect of 10% yearly increases this. I multiply it times 1, which is 1 million, 0.1, which is 10% of 1 million, right? And then every time I hit equal 1, it adds 10%. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So yeah, in 20 years, $1 million is going to turn into almost 7 million. So it's going to basically almost 7x, right? You could also do it on the opposite end where you look at inflation, right? I like doing it with inflation. $1 million in 20 years from inflation is going to look like what? Inflation 2.5%, 3%. Let's call it 3.97 because that's taking away 3% every click. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So in 20 years, you're going to lose about half of your $1 million, right? But you can see the disparity between the two, right? Even though you're losing money to inflation, you're still going to be making so much more if you invest over time, right? So you're still going to be keeping up with inflation plus some by investing. And that's why investing is king. It's the biggest statistical edge finance ever gives you. And it's easy almost as long as you sit on it long enough. But day trading can be powerful too. You just got to learn, like, one of the things that I like is Top Step's lockout feature, right? Like I'm on a 6-day green streak. Is it 6 or 7? I'm on a big green streak on Top Step. And my problem historically is that, like, I'll make a bunch of money, and then I'm on a green streak, so I don't want to lose it. And so what I end up doing is just kind of swinging for the fences so I don't end up giving up my green streak. And I just end up, like, taking these massive losses on these really long green streaks. And so right now I am on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. I'm going for 8 green days in a row now. 8 green days in a row I'm going for. And now that I'm on this green streak, I am going to absolutely set this to where if I lose over $200, it boots me out and locks me out and liquidates. I can't do anything, which is good. That means that no matter what, I'm not going to lose much more than that, depending on slippage. And that's a powerful thing because it lets me keep most of the gains that I've made in the 7-day green streak that I'm in. Any Fed speeches today? Yeah, we got Barkin speaking at 9, Williams speaking at 11, Goolsby speaking at 12. So yeah, we got some Fed speeches. Palantir is starting to pop up a little bit here, Chaz. So Palantir is starting to move. Yeah, so Palantir is starting to pop. All right, it's getting a little hot. Investors are gamblers. Remember, there are lost decades. Great Depression, .com crash, GFC, to name a few. Well, I mean, the only thing I disagree with, BB, is to name a few. There's only been about that many in history, right? There might be 1 or 2 more, but they're certainly not common. And there absolutely is red decades. But I talked about this yesterday. Okay, like I talked about this yesterday. If we put up the SPY here, right? I'll put up the SPY chart right here, right? We put up the SPY chart on the right. We do have lost decades. Absolutely we do. But usually, regardless of these lost decades, like, okay, an example of this is 2000, right? Like 2000, we had the .com crash. Okay, we had this drop right here. right? And then we actually started to rebound and broke highs again, and then we had the 2008 mortgage disaster that dropped us again, right? And so while you can call this a lost decade, it's not like one event made this drop. It's also not like we downtrended the entire time from the dot-com crash, right? Like we just didn't downtrend the whole time. Like really, we were bullish most of this time and ended up breaking highs. We just got two big macroeconomic events happening here and then here, right next to each other. And so yes, you have weak decades, absolutely you do, right? But in the end, if you hold it long enough, you're gonna make money, right? Like the easiest way to prove what I'm trying to say is this. Like look, here's the SPY, right? The SPY got introduced here. Look at the increases over time, right? You put up the S&P 500 to see a more profound one here too. Like look at how much this thing goes up over time. And so this is the biggest statistical edge the market ever gives you. Like you don't want to get caught in that position where you're so bearish, right, that you don't recognize the edge that the market ever gives you, you know, because it's a sucker's bet to bet against the market long term. It really is a sucker's bet. It's one of the reasons, like, you might see me stop buying stuff, but I'm definitely not about to short it, right? I'm definitely not about to try to pick the tops of the strongest, healthiest companies in the world. Like, I'm not saying everybody can't do this, but it's just not an edge for me. It's not something that I think there's a big edge. There's easier edges to capitalize on in markets than top picking the strongest assets in the world, right? And I think people get misled and they romanticize like short predictors and like crash predictors and all this different stuff. But I think they're kind of a sucker's bet, betting against the market long term. I've said this over and over again on this stream, but I think it's important to repeat myself so people can understand it. The longer you hold a short position in blue chip stocks, the less likely you are to make money, right? The longer you hold a short position, the less likely you are to make money. The longer you hold a long position in like the S&P 500 stocks, the more likely you are to make money, right? And that's a powerful edge. And so I'm not going to take something where the window of opportunity is so small and the amount of risk is so large. It just doesn't make sense to me. But again, everybody's different. People have different risk tolerance, skills, all that good stuff. So I'm not trying to hate on shorts. I'm just saying it's not my edge. It's not what I want to try to do. I say investors are gamblers because most don't use stop loss orders. I mean, it depends on what you're investing in. The S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow. Like, to be honest, if the S&P goes down 90%, you got a lot bigger problems than your portfolio. Like, we're going to have something crazy going on. 35K invested in crypto in late 2018 is now 345. It depends on your definition of gambling. No, I'm not telling anybody to buy anything right now. I'm not buying up anything right now, but I'm certainly not trying to top pick it and short it. Like, I recognize I could be wrong and it might continue to just rip up over and over again. You know, there's a difference between that and like needing to top pick it correctly and shorting right now, right? I could be wrong and not lose anything right now. Versus if I jump in short, or if I jump in short here and it rips up, I'm losing tons. Yeah, again, investing is gambler. So like, here's an example. If something goes like this, right, and then comes all the way back down to here, and then continues to go back up, right, and you're holding it over this period, right, does this mean you were wrong? Of course not. You know, of course not. Like, you were right. You got to hold it long enough. And that's why I'm saying time heals a lot of wounds in markets. You got way too many YouTubers that are over predicting crashes, and a lot of these guys have been predicting crashes for 7-8 years now, just wrong over and over and over again, right? They're predicting crashes every other week. They're kind of mirroring Michael Burry sometimes, who's been wildly wrong about a lot of different things on the short side, at least. And so you just don't want to over predict them. Like, you got to understand, it's very difficult to predict crashes. Most of the time when we do crash, not a lot of people know we're about to. And YouTubers in general have a bias of wanting to be, they want to be the next Michael Burry. They want to be the next big market predictor of crashes, right? So they end up just predicting crash after crash after crash. And a lot of them have just been wrong after wrong after wrong, you know. Do you think the Fed needs to stop talking so much each month unless... No, I like when the Fed speaks. Oh, except for Jerome Powell? Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about the other ones. They're not super influential. Anyway. Very few Rolexes go up. They hold their value well, but very few go up. I'm not sure if you really understand that market, Enzo. Most Rolexes go up in value over time. Okay, so like an example of this, right? If you bought a Rolex in 2017, right? Here's a Rolex price graph, right? If you bought a Rolex here, you're loving life. Now, you could buy a Datejust, you could buy a Batman, you could buy a Sprite, you could buy a Coke, you could buy whatever Rolex is going to be up. Here's another example, right? If you bought a Rolex in 1980, you probably paid $600 to $700 for it right now. You could sell that same Rolex that you paid $600 or $700 for in the 80s today for $6,000-$7,000. It's gone up 10x since then. And so most Rolexes absolutely go up in value, right? That's a big misconception. People associate Rolexes with irresponsible spending, okay? But something that smart money, big money does that a lot of people don't realize is they understand it's going to go up in value and they buy this stuff, right? It's not a perfect correlation. Like, again, I talked about this story the other day. So markets ended up ripping up. This big spike was mostly driven by the pandemic, stimulus checks, quantitative easing by the Fed, low interest rate environment, the lockdowns where everybody was home and wanted to spend money and stuff, and they had extra money. And so this correction was necessary. It's we had 2020 quantitative easing, money printing, stimulus checks, and then we corrected big. But in terms of investing, it looks like it's kind of the time to buy up some watches, personally. But again, you never freaking know. At the very least, they can hold their value well. But long term, when I mean long term, I mean over like a 30-year period, incredibly consistent. Almost all of them go up in value. I mean, there's better investments that are more consistent, absolutely, right? But I think the logic for most people is you could buy a cool watch, wear it for 5-10 years, sell it for more than you paid for it. So you basically made money by wearing a cool watch, for 5-10 years. And that's a cool thing. I think I'm okay with that as long as you take care of it. But again, I think this is a big misconception, right? That people associate Rolex with irresponsible spending, and that's not the case. People that buy them might not be as dumb as you think. Yeah, I don't necessarily think the market's going to crash. I think anything could happen, though. Is it better to take 20% profit and then have that money gain on money market daily return, or hold many years to double your money? I'm not an investment professional, and so I have no freaking idea what markets are going to do. Genuinely no freaking idea what markets are going to do. I don't know if they're going to go up, down, or sideways. Genuinely no idea. But personally, if you want to talk about the best thing to do, is to buy up S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, maybe a little bit of gold, maybe some real estate investment trusts, and hold that indefinitely. Like, it doesn't matter whether you're up 20%, down 20%. You can add to it if it drops enough. But if you hold that for, again, 20, 30 years, you are going to make so much money from it that you can build generational wealth for your family as long as you invested a decent amount to begin with, right? The problem that most people face is that they make 20% one year, they get emotional, and they sell it, right? Where, again, if you would hold it, most of the time, I can't guarantee anything, maybe I'm wrong here, but if you hold some of these assets like the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, I don't really like the Russell, but, people are different. Gold, right? Real estate. If you hold these things, you can make thousands of percent over time. Thousands of percent. But most people do not have the discipline. It's one of the reasons money managers can be useful, because the name of the game and that type of stuff is holding, is sitting, right? It's not, oh, I'm up 20%, I want to look cool, and so I'm going to take profit. Oh, I'm up 10%, I want to look cool, I'm going to take profit. That's a rookie mistake. You got to just sit on those things long term. Ideally, like, I think I heard this in somebody's podcast, but ideally you want to sit on them forever, right? Like, you when you buy a stock, you want to hold it forever, right? You buy Apple, you sit on it forever. You buy Amazon, you sit on it forever, Now, there's pros and cons to that. Like, I'm okay with you locking in profit, you know, when you're 50 or something if you want, but everybody's different there. Hey, thank you so much for the donation. Yeah, that's possible, Jeffrey. He said, I think the current admin may want to sign off the term with good numbers and low CPI. Yeah, that might be true. You know, that absolutely could be true. Well, I'm okay with buying Bitcoin. I think diversification is the powerful thing that you want to do, right? Like, if you, like, diversificate, like, why risk everything in one thing? For me, like, if it was me, I'd buy a little bit of the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, gold, real estate investment trust, or real estate in general, depending on where you buy it. There's some areas of the world that are very good for purchasing real estate, that the appreciation is so likely that very, very good for purchasing real estate. And so, yeah. So why buy one asset? Buy a little bit of crypto, you know, or buy a lot of crypto. Just diversify it with good long-term assets as well. So, like, even if you're wrong on crypto, you'll still make money. All right, chat, we got less than 15 minutes. Or no, we got a little bit over 15 minutes left. You guys ready? We got almost 2,500 viewers right now. Thanks so much. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. I appreciate the love, guys. Let's see what CPI shows up today. Again, a lot of theories floating around. I think anything could freaking happen here, chat. Anything. Oh, let me put up my Combine account here. We'll try to play with this one. I think we're going to get chopped, so I'm going to buy this, actually. Let's buy it. Oh, these are micros. I don't want micros. Hold on. You got to remind me to switch back, chat. Oh, no. Dude, this song, dude. There we go. All right, we got 3 contracts here. 3. We're kind of flat on this. And again, this is the futures market, so I can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ. I'm basically day trading the QQQ price action in futures. Very similar to day trading stocks. No PDT rule. Here we go. We're going to add another piece to this. 4 contracts. Don't do it to me. There we go. I'm going to take half of that off, just lock that in. We just made about $120 there. We still got 2 contracts left. And again, you can kind of see how similar this is to day trading stocks. It's incredibly similar. No PDT rule in futures. I could day trade the S&P, the Dow. They've paid out over $150 million since 2020. They've been around for over 12 years. They give you a demo. They test your skill with it. You pass the test. They fund you. You fail, you only lose what you pay for it. If I can make $1,500 today on this account, I get funded. All right, so we ended up locking in some here. We fixed our average, but now we're still breaking down some, so we're still green. All right, we're gonna take 4 contracts and that's it. And be prepared to cut it if we need to. We're kind of at a make or break it level. I really like this spot. It's right at the 200 exponential here. Yeah, so you get funded. There's a 90% split once you're funded. No PDT rule. You can day trade all those assets I talked about. If you fail, you only lose the monthly subscription. In this case, it's $50. Again, if you want to learn more, they are an affiliate or sponsor of mine. I'm biased for sure. We are now green on this trade. Check it out. Look at that. Hey, I'm going to take half off, a piece off of there. Understand all these rules, guys. CFTC 4.41, hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations, guys. I do trade off stream. You're not going to see all my trades. Let me get this out the way so you guys can see it. There you go. All right, so we locked in more. We locked in about another $200 here, give or take. I'm going to add another little piece of this, 2 contracts. And then we're immediately going to liquidate it there. Took another $70 off. And I'm going to get out the rest right there. So, got out the rest flat. You love to see. You can see how similar this is to day trading stocks. And again, if you want to check it out, link is in the description. We got CPI inflation data coming soon. Yeah, so we're up 250 on the day. Again, the reason I bought this, I think we're going to get choppiness over the next 15 minutes or so leading into CPI. CPI is going to scare a lot of people. I'm gonna buy this now. 1 contract. Oof. 2. As long as we don't break down too heavy here, I'll be fine. I'm gonna cut half of that there, just risk management. Took out 1. We only got 1 contract left. Okay, now we're up 45. I'll add that right back. So if we pop again, there we go. Just lock that in. Up about. All right, so we're out of that too. So we ended up making money there. We made like 40, 50 bucks. Not bad. We're up about 300 on the day. Bond and stocks are now trading in sync, meaning if stocks go down, so do bonds. That means diversification saves no one. The 60-40 is dead. I mean, bonds are going up. Or bonds are going down right now because yields are going up because the Fed's going to be more hawkish than expected because of strong economic data. So while there might be a positive correlation, correlation doesn't always mean causation. All right. So the point is, like, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to follow each other. Bond prices are going down right now because yields are going up. And there's an inverse correlation between bond prices and yields. The reason yields are going up is because economic data was much stronger than expected. We saw it like when PPI showed up strong, or when payroll number came in strong, services came in strong, yields spiked last Friday, right? So that's the reason we're getting that. But again, correlation doesn't always mean causation. And I think like traders have this tendency to always think that they always think there's a cause behind the correlation, and there's not. You know, like I think there was a correlation between how many people watch Nicolas Cage movies and people drowning in a pool, right? There's some funny what's the website? There's a funny website that shows random correlations, but it doesn't always mean it doesn't always mean there's a reason for it. Like sometimes things correlate randomly. All right, looking at our poll, 64% are bullish, chat. 64% are bullish. We got over 3,000 people. We still got over 10 minutes left. Inflation is back for sure. Well, inflation's actually not technically back yet. Maybe today's report shows it is. The market certainly fears it, though, right? And the market fears it because payroll numbers came in shockingly high last Friday. Services PMI came in higher than expected. The JOLTS report showed more jobs than expected here. So a lot of things showed strong economic growth, and that's making people worry about the inflation consequences of that growth, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean inflation's up. It really, PPI came in yesterday lower than expected and lower than last time, I believe, right? So yeah, PPI showed up yesterday at 0% for core, month over month, 0% for core, 0.2% for regular PPI, and last time it was 0.4%. It was expected at 0.4%. So core CPI showed up less than last time and lower than expected, right? But inflation always rises, so technically it's going to be higher than last time. But the rate of increase is slowing, which is good. I'm not going to trade during CPI. I'll probably trade after CPI. Yeah, correlation doesn't equal causation is what I said. Yeah. Well, no, that's what I said originally. But I was just kind of going deeper into that, which is that like everything that correlates doesn't have the same cause. Correlation doesn't always equal causation. I'm pretty sure I said that originally, right? That's what I was trying to say. But I'm pretty sure I did say it, and then I just went into a little bit more detail. But maybe I didn't. I don't freaking know. You know we're in trouble when everyone is hanging on whatever the latest report is trying to tell us. Well, I mean, I think there's some people... Again, I don't really like buying up anything right now. But I also don't think we should think the market's going to crash every economic report. Again, I talked about this the last Fed meeting. That's kind of like a rookie thing to do. And I'm not saying if you could be bearish on this report, it doesn't necessarily mean you're being a rookie, right? But one thing you see rookies do is every single economic report, it's the end of the world. It's the market crash, right? And I don't necessarily agree with that. If anything, it means they're new. So look at this 200 exponential bounce here. So we got a 200 EMA bounce. Look at that. Right off of it. Again, we're going to be on Top Step TV later on today, too. Right, nothing's definitive. The more definitive somebody is, especially in chat, like if they're saying this is going to happen or this is going to happen, or, you know, that usually means they're new. Yeah, if we got good numbers, we might see 100K for Bitcoin for sure. All right, we got 3,500 viewers right now. We still got 7 minutes left. 7 minutes left. Y'all hit that live button next to the play button. I can't see where the lives are, but still. Brother, I was looking all over the internet to find live updates. I figured there would be some smart dude on YouTube. I'm definitely the smartest, I would say. Definitely top 3 smartest people ever. Sure, sir, shall I long? I shall not right now. I don't like longs right now. Again, I'm waiting. I'm not interested in buying up anything. Market's up way too much. Typically, we get one decent correction over 10% a year. Market's up over 100% over the last year, or over the last 2 years. I mean, stocks are up big from the mania of AI, and typically after big technology revolutions, we get some corrections. I'm just worried about how big of a correction it's going to be. And so for me right now, unless I'm DCAing long term, I'm not super interested in buying up anything right now. I'm gonna wait for the Fed meeting to happen this week, as well as this month's earnings season that starts basically today. Bank earnings came out pretty good, so that's what I'm waiting on. John, I missed you trading the past couple days. Glad you're running a nice streak. Yeah, I'm on 7 green days in a row on my actual funded account, but this is just a challenge account. So we're just playing around in this in pre-market. But my actual funded, we're running 7 green days in a row, and I do not trade in pre-market on that. I started watching for CPI. Now I watch every time. Hey, thanks so much, brother. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're really an economics channel. Top 3 traders on YouTube live in the world. I'm definitely one of the top 3 brown-haired genius economists on YouTube with beginner trading in the name in the world right now. Guys, definitely top 3 ever. Favorite Green Day track? I like She by Green Day. There's a couple good ones. I used to like Green Day. I haven't listened to them lately, but they're pretty good. I used to watch your stream every morning. What's up, Robert? Hey, welcome, man. Appreciate it. Definitely top 3 and knowing who's top 3. Every rose has its thorns, Nick. Are you going to short or long the NASDAQ? I don't freaking know what the NASDAQ's going to do. I don't know if it's going to go up, down, or sideways, and nobody does. All right. All I know is long term over the next 20, 30 years is probably going to go up. Right. Outside of that, I have no freaking idea. I might react to it, but at this point in time, we got a choppy trend. We got big economic data dropping in 5 minutes. And again, I just have no freaking idea what we're going to do. Genuinely no idea. Oh man, I almost randomly added somebody as my Big Toe. I almost randomly added Big Toe, actually Big Foe, as a moderator. That's a great name, Big Toe. Hope the jiu-jitsu's going well. Yeah, it's fun, man. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at jiu-jitsu. I really am. I'm almost blue belt, right? Like, but basically, my coach and I had a conversation, and yeah, I'm basically there. I'll show you guys some of my jiu-jitsu skills after CPI. I got a video, if you guys want to see it. I'm loving arm bars lately, like arm bars from guard. I've been catching everybody with it. I love arm barring people from guard, and then when they stack me, I hook under their legs and sweep them and land in side control and finish the arm bar. I've been doing that over and over again to people. That and bow and arrow chokes are my favorite. He'd be a great moderator. Who, Big Toe? Hey, nice, Daryl. Definitely top 3 YouTube jiu-jitsu traders in the world right now. Definitely top 3-ish. Hey, nice, Eric. All right, guys, here we go. Hey, we got 3 minutes left. Chat, 3 minutes left. We got about 4,500 viewers right now. Almost 5,000 viewers. Again, I'm not really interested in buying up anything. Okay, Harish. Again, don't listen to anybody. Like, most of the time, people end up... Every single CPI report, they say... I got to give my prediction, guys. You're right. I got to give my prediction here. Okay, so my prediction is neutral. I think we're going to come in flat or close to flat. I think the current admin wants good inflation data. Somebody else theorized this earlier, and I kind of agree with them. So I'm going to go with neutral. I think we're going to come in flat for CPI. I think we're going to come in at 0.3%, 2.9% on the year. Maybe 0.1% difference there somewhere. Either that or slightly better at 2.8%, or 0.2%, right? Those are two of my, but again, I have no freaking idea, and this is just a straight up freaking guess here. No freaking idea, straight up freaking guess. But I'm going to go with, again, 0.3%, 2.9% in the year as expected today. Again, I might be wildly wrong. Do not copy me. Not an investment professional. I have no freaking idea what we're going to get, guys. No freaking idea. All right, here we go, guys. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. You guys ready? This is a good song for it, huh? Here we go. Again, the other thing, mortgage rate came out higher than expected. Mortgage rate showed higher than expected data here. So that ain't good either. Mortgage rate showed 7% plus for interest rates for 30-year. That's high. We got 1 minute left, guys. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream here, chat. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. Here's the monster report here. Again, 0.4% expected for CPI, 0.4%. All right, here we go. Less than a minute, chat. Less than a minute. We got almost 6,000 viewers right now. All right, here we go. Last minute predictions. What do you think CPI is going to show up as? All right, here we go. 20 seconds, chat. 20 seconds. All right, we got over 6,000 viewers. We got almost 7,000 people here for CPI, dude. People are tuning in for this. I'm going to pause this. We got 10 seconds left. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. And here's the report. All right, we came in at 0.2% for CPI, 0.2% for core. Regular CPI came in 0.4%, which I'm showing as expected. 2.9% on the year. We were pretty close to right. I said it would basically be as expected. Bloomberg has it expected at 0.4%, 2.9% on the freaking year, as expected. Market's flying up right now because we came in as expected. You're welcome. As expected, CPI, lower than expected or as expected. None of it was higher than expected. Again, 0.4% on the month, 2.9% on the year, guys. What did I say? I said 2.9%. You're welcome. Core CPI lower than expected, 0.2%. Core CPI year over year, 3.2%. And then the rest was as expected, basically. We'll put this up on screen. Better than expected inflationary data. And, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, again, predictable, to be honest. Predictable. You're welcome. I'm going to add that to a notch in my accuracy. Again, 2.9%, guys, CPI. As I said, I got to start guessing this more, dude. I got to start trading based off of this, dude, because I've gotten them actually pretty correct regularly. All right, so data's up on screen now. Data's up on screen. I'll put it in big letters. 2.9%, 2.9%. Predictable, but you wouldn't make a prediction? I mean, I did. I told you guys I thought it would come in at 2.9% about 6 minutes ago. Rewind the stream. Pretty easy. Yeah, market's up. Look at this. 21K. Over 21K here, chat. I got to start drawing some levels now on this. I got to start drawing some levels. See, we're past it. Let me put a 5-minute chart up. Yeah, so we have this level here. I kind of like this level here too. All right. Where do we go? Okay, there we are. Look at this candle here. So we are up big on the CPI report. Still rising here, chat. Still rising. So we're up huge. Again, we're at 21.2s here, chat. 21.2s. Up a huge amount on CPI data. CPI data is flying here, guys. Love you, buddy. Hey, you did good yesterday, dude. Another good day. Come on. You need to start getting up earlier, bro. I love you. Love you guys. Yeah, great total freaking guess. You're welcome. Here, you're welcome, guys. Hey, if you want to check out my sponsor or my affiliate, check out Top Step. Great way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose, and so everybody can't be the top 3 greatest day trader of all time, guys. Everybody can't be, but you can limit your risk and lose less when you're learning how to day trade. When I day traded first, I lost thousands of dollars in the beginning. If I would have had something like this, I would have lost much less, to be honest. Top Step gives you a demo. They're the most legit one in the world. They're the most legit funded program in the world. They give you a demo. Base one's $50K. If you can make $3K in profit on that $50K demo without losing $2K, a 3-to-2 ratio, they fund you $50K with a 90% split, and they've paid out almost $200 million since 2020. Market's breaking highs again. Market's breaking highs again. This is the NASDAQ 100. I can day trade this in futures, no PDT rule. And so it's a reasonable 2-to-3 ratio. They've been around for over 12 years. They fund thousands of traders. They paid out almost $200 million in 4 years. Great way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose, so it's the best of both worlds. If you lose, you're out $50. If you were going to pay for real-time data in a demo account, it would cost about the same. If you pass it, 90% split once you're funded. You get to keep your first $10K in profit. That's similar to funding your own account, just noticeably less risk. And best edge in funding right now is zero commission on Top Step X. So I can trade with zero commission and make $10, $15, $20. Zero commission on Top Step X. It's a powerful, powerful thing. Most day traders should learn how to day trade on this. And it's very similar to day trading stocks. Incredibly similar. We'll day trade on this later. But if you want to check it out, they are an affiliate or sponsor of mine. I am biased because I get paid by them. Top 3 most biased ever, they say. But I get paid by them. So if you want to check them out, here's the link. I'll put the link up in chat. Understand CFTC 4.41 hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations, guys. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. With that said, though, guys, hey, I told you guys. I gotta listen. Y'all will never hear the end of it. I'm gonna toot my own horn forever. You're welcome. All right, 2.9%, 2.9%. I don't know how I get these right. I really don't. I use a bit of logic though. I do use a bit of logic, right? It's not like I'm just throwing out random numbers here. Like I use a little bit of logic. Yeah, bears are mad right now. That's all I'm saying. Bears are mad. And again, like you gotta understand, if you're bearish, you shouldn't be basing everything off of one economic report, right? You really shouldn't be. I'm still bearish. I'm not even bearish. I'm just not buying up too much right now over the next year. I'm just not, right? I'm just not interested. Things are a little bit too expensive. We might go on a new run with the new president. Like markets seem to react positively to him. I'm not even saying I like him or dislike him or agree with him or disagree with him, but markets tend to react positively. And so the next thing is I'm looking in 5 days on Inauguration Day. I'm curious to see what we get that day. But yeah, markets up big on lower inflation data. I do like the logic, though, that somebody said that, you know, it's the last CPI report for the current admin and they want it to be good. And I do understand that, you know. John, just tell us you have insider information. I don't, brother. I don't have any insider information. Dude, I'm sitting in my, you know, what a lot of people say is my mother's basement here. You know, it's not my mom's basement. It's my house. But, bro. Yeah. Like, bro. Like, I'm sitting in my house right now. You know? Like, I'm not on the SEC. I'm not in the Federal Reserve building. But you're welcome, guys. That's all I'm saying. You're welcome. Market's up big. We'll see if we can day trade this in futures. Yeah, if this is my mom's basement, I'm just going to say she's got a nice freaking basement here. Hey, man, when you're right, you're right. Yeah, I mean, Guy and Van, markets are excited about inflation mostly coming in flat. Bloomberg had it expected at 0.4%. Core CPI, which excludes food and energy, came in lower than last time and lower than inflation year over year, or lower than expected year over year. The rest came in mostly flat, 2.9% on the year versus 2.9%. And so most of the CPI reports came in lower than last time and better than expected, or neutral as expected, right? But different analysts, some people had it at 0.3%, and so it really depends. But yeah, 2.9% on the year is what I told people I thought it would be, and that's what it was. You ought to be in the Federal Reserve building. Awesome prediction, John. Hey, I don't know how I'm getting these right like that, but. And to be fair, I didn't get it exactly right. Like, my month over month was slightly off, but the general prediction was correct, right? So remember what I said. I think we're going to come in as expected, or somewhere around that, somewhere close to that, right? And what did we do? We showed up as expected, or somewhere around that for every single report. Slightly better for core, but 2.9% of the year was accurate, and that's what I told people was 2.9 on the year. So we're pretty right. Yeah, numbers at the top of the screen: 2.9% on the year. CPI month over month showed up at 0.4 versus 0.4% expected. And this is what I'm trying to tell people, guys. Like, this is something I try to tell people a lot, and it's really hard for people to hear me, is that nobody freaking knows if the market's going to react up, down, sideways. Nobody freaking knows. Genuinely, nobody knows. Like, nobody knows whether, like, data's going to influence the market up, down, or sideways. Genuinely. And so we can't really expect to. You got to just, like, understand. Nobody freaking knows. Like, when you start betting everything on these reports, you're kind of taking a gamble. Market broke highs again. We're up to 21 threes. Yeah, let me see what the rate expectations are. So again, I mean, this shows more like, this shows that the Fed can be a little bit more dovish than previously thought with better inflation. The only thing though is I don't think this inflation holds. I think it might be a little lag until we see it reflected on the CPI and PCE reports. But yeah, we're still at 97 to 3. So this is basically what it was before. So basically, this CPI report might be good, but I don't know if the next one's going to be. I've never seen John so happy. Look at this guy. I mean, I'm kind of like I was yesterday. I kind of troll a lot and joke around, but I've watched John since he was working a small account. He is entertainment and scary accurate. Hey, thanks so much, Bobby. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir. You're the best for data. Hey, thanks so much. Right, for sure, JP. I agree with that too. I think that makes sense. And yeah, we'll see what happens, Chad. I mean, we're still early in the day. Sometimes the first move is the wrong move, but this is a pretty big first move for inflation. Right, it's a pretty big like pop. It's a big move. I'm gonna short this here, and this is a combine account, so this is effectively like a challenge account. If I can make another $1,000 here, I get funded. So we're gonna try to get some profit and then add to it if we can. A little risky shorting these highs, but I think there's some good risk reward if I can be smart with it. All right, we got 2 contracts. add 2 here. We got 4 now. It's taking too long. I'm gonna take half off there. We lost about 200 just to limit my risk. I'm trying to think whether I want to swing for the fences. I might. All right, there we go. See if we can retrace back down now. There we go. There we go. That's exactly what we wanted. We'll add to this now too. All right, so we ended up like making most of the money back. We lost 200, we made 200, and then we maybe lost like $100 net. I'll short this now too. 1 contract though. We're gonna keep it 1, and then that way we can scale in if we keep popping up. The problem is that Nvidia and the SPY both look kind of strong here, and so I'm gonna cut this. And we ended up only losing about $200 there. We're still green on the day too on this account. I don't want to see Nvidia continue to run back up and break highs and go into like a big bull spree. So I think I'm just gonna chill and wait. SPY at 591s. Don't do it to me. Yeah. Usually one of the first indicators of a future recession. There's something called stagflation, which means weak economics and high inflation. It's called stagflation. Generally, we start to see that leading into a recession, but we don't see that right now because we see strong economic data and low inflation, right? So it's the opposite of stagflation. If it was stagflation, we'd see high inflation and weak economics numbers. And again, right now we see kind of the opposite of that in the most recent string of data, right? So an example of this is like yesterday, PPI was lower than expected as well as lower than the previous time. Payroll numbers were strong Friday. Services PMI was strong Friday. The JOLTS report was higher than expected, right? So we saw a lot of different things show strength in the economy, not weakness. Let's see some other ones. There's the pop. Glad I got out of that short position. Again, Nvidia's looking a little too strong for me here. All right, so we got this big pop here. We got this big pop. All right, pallets here, rip it up. Yeah, again, we cover this as soon as it drops. The reason we get thousands of people tuning into my streams is because we cover it literally as soon as it comes out. John, do you think a rally next week is guaranteed, or you're not totally convinced? Nothing's guaranteed in anything ever. So nothing is guaranteed in anything ever, chat. So, you know, we can only look at like probabilities, and I think we got good probabilities of a run, especially in maybe like crypto next week. But it's not guaranteed. You know, the market tends to react favorably to the current admin. Oof, we're getting our butt kicked here. And again, this is a demo account. I usually don't trade in pre-market. I should probably try to pass this after the bell, but that's where my big edge is. I'd hope we turn around, but the momentum's looking a little too strong. Yeah, boo. I hope it's a liquidity grab. If that'll save me, great. But if not, we'll just lose it. It's $50. Like, to put it into perspective, I make well over $50 today. I don't necessarily like losing, though. All right, so we're going to liquidate at least a piece of this here. And take a chunk of this off. I was hoping we get a liquidity grab here. We got 5 contracts here. If we're right, we might get funded. If we're wrong, we'll have to start this over again. Come on, give it to me. Again, you got to understand, I'm not super emotionally tied to this either, though. So, like, it's big numbers, but we're going to trade our actual funded account after the bell. I was hoping that would be a liquidity grab. That's a good rejection, but I don't like it necessarily still. The problem is NVIDIA's popping up, and that doesn't really make me excited. Yeah, so we ended up cutting a chunk of this here. We're down like 6 or 7 now. Yeah. All right, so we ended up actually losing less than we could have. Let's see how much we lost here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We lost about 1,500. We still got a range. Definitely not happy about it, but let's wait for the chat to tell me I'm terrible now. It's coming soon. It's got to be. Yeah, we lost. It's all right. It's all right. Again, I don't want to switch to my actual funded account yet. This is the second one in a row where we've got it to 1,500 one day, and then we've lost it the next. So, boo. But this is why I trade demos and pre-market, is because I'm terrible in pre-market. Let's try to get, I'm going to give myself a couple of these, and I'm going to try to bring a couple of them to 1,500. I want 3 funded accounts, right? Like, that's what I want. I want 3. So, I should have traded with the trend, is my fault. Yeah. Yeah, it's great entertainment before the bell, right? I just don't want to like give up too much. Again, on my actual account, I'm up 7 green days in a row. So, yeah, trend is my friend. I'm trying to catch a reversal, but it's all right. Yeah, so I think we could start to get a rejection here too. I think I was just slightly off with my time frame. Bitcoin 99. Yeah, I think this report could make us hit 100K. I remember telling you guys that before the bell too, that like we could hit 100K on this report. All right, let's reset. All right, so that's one. All right, I think we got this one too. So we did get a big turnaround too here, to be honest. Like, look, we did get a turnaround, literally exactly right there. I was slightly off, just slightly. It's all right. I know it's risky. I'm going to try this again. I got to give you guys some pre-market entertainment. But I think I might as well get like the losses out of the way now. Maybe losing these in pre-market builds my risk management skills. Right? Try to be optimistic. We'll add to this now. There's 5 contracts. All right, we just locked in 250. Locked in another piece. The reversal was there, to be honest, man. There's another 2. All right, so we just made about 5 just now. The reversal was there too. This is what I was trying to catch the whole time. I was trading too big of size, is what it was. Yeah, I'm not revenge trading. I'm trying to get speed funding. I don't trade this way in a funded account, guys. In fact, I'm on a 7-day green streak right now. Like, here's my funded account stats, if you want to see them. Right, like, look, here's my actual funded account stats. Right, here's my graph in my actual funded account. Let me show you my stats in my actual funded account. Here's my graph. since January, right? I literally pulled from Top Step X, my platform. All right. Here's another view of my daily cumulative net P&L graph. Right? And then here is my latest green streak, which is about 7 green days in a row. All right, so I don't trade my funded accounts like this. This is me trying to get speed funded. Like, this is me trying to make $1,500 one day, $1,500 the next on combine accounts, right? They give you a demo. They test your skill with a demo account first. That's what you see me trading in pre-market. On my actual account, I never trade in pre-market, and I just try to wait until at least 5 minutes after the opening bell, and then I kind of scale into it. So I build up a small cushion, and then I might trade a little bit larger, and then I build up a larger cushion, and then I can either swing or retire for the day depending on what I want to do. But the point is, like, this is speed funding, right? Like, I'm trying to get funded in 2 days on one last account. I'm already in 2 funded accounts. I'm trying to get speed funding in 2 days on one last one. I might be trading a little overzealous, but, you know, if you're too critical of how I try to get speed funded, you're just trying to be critical. Like, and that's okay. Yeah, I mean, listen, guys. I don't even claim to be a good trader. I don't sell a course. I don't sell a service. I'm definitely one of the top 3 worst revenge traders of all time ever in the world, right? Like, I'm definitely in the top 3, right? Top 3's got to be Tom Cruise, Joe Rogan, John, beginner trading. Top 3 biggest revenge traders ever in the world right now. Mel Gibson, you know, he's got to be in there too. Maybe he's number 4. But if I looked at all the revenge traders that there ever been in the world today, I would definitely be in the top 3 of that. Again, I would probably put Mel Gibson in the top 2. So I think it would be more like Pee Wee Herman, Mel Gibson, John, beginner trading, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that's the list. But yeah. And look, the market's dipping. So my reversal would have actually been right here too. Like, I was shorting it here. Look at this. This is what I was trying to catch. I just got a little bit too large a size. The other Tom Cruise? Yeah, definitely. The timer's done, right? We got the opening bell now. I think we might have some other economic data. One of the things I didn't talk about as much from this economic string of data is the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index showed a much weaker manufacturing sector than expected. It was expected at 2.7, almost 3. It showed up at almost minus 13. So a much weaker manufacturing sector by the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index. We also have Barkin, FOMC member Barkin speaking. We have Kashkari speaking at 10 a.m. today. So we got some Fed members speaking as well. Williams is speaking at 11. Dude, you don't need to explain what you're doing, do you, bro? Yeah, but every time I kind of take some risks in like a challenge account, people end up acting like I'm some kind of crazy, you know. Anytime I lose a challenge account, which, like, if you want to get funded quickly, like, you better believe you're going to lose some of these, right? The chat ends up turning into thinking I'm freaking just degenerate gambling my life away, you know? It's all right. Definitely top 3 best ever. You may want to buy a light for your face. I mean, I could. I mean, I know I look better, like, if I put some light on my face. Like if I go, like... Most of my charts are dark because they're better for you, to be honest. But if I go like this... Right? I'm sure my face is much lighter, but... It's probably worse for my eyes, realistically. And, like, I know I look good here. I'm definitely one of the top 3 best-looking YouTube traders named John, who also do jiu-jitsu in the world right now. But... It's better for my eyes to not have so much light on it, to be honest. Like, we got enough light. My room's light, you know what I mean? Like, I got enough light here. Y'all are going to have to deal with you know. Y'all are just going to have to deal with it. First step is acceptance. Definitely, I'm not accepting that I'm the top 3 worst revenge trader ever. Pee Wee Herman and Mel Gibson are still in front of me, guys, for sure. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I don't revenge trade, just like... yeah, watch NVIDIA, though. NVIDIA's had 1, 2... let's see, there's 10... NVIDIA's had 10 candles. 10 minutes, there's only been 2 green candles in the last 10 minutes. So it's been a little downward pull. We also have this low right here. I got to look at some levels here now, though, I think, chat. Which I'm going to look at, like, right here as one. I'm going to leave that one alone for now. But... yeah, we're just waiting here. We got an hour left, chat. Or no, we got 30 minutes left until the market opens. Again, if you want to check out Top Step, check out link in the description. You know. Again, there's no PDT rule in futures. You can day trade the S&P. I wish I would have learned about futures, because that kind of slowly gravitated towards futures, right? Like originally, I started day trading like penny stocks. I completely like lost my whole account. What I find kind of funny though is like I watch some of these penny stock gurus, right? And they got like a squeeze chart that goes like this. And they're like, oh, look at this article I did about stocks. And it's like, bro, this is every stock that goes up ever. It looks like this, right? But most penny stocks are not going to do this. So if you talk somebody into buying right here, you know what I mean? Half the time, it's going to go like this. They buy it here, and it's going to go, especially in penny stocks, right? So acting like you should buy the dips in penny stocks because the short squeezes is nonsense. And some of these penny stock gurus, like, I see these, like, most penny stocks straight up fail. And people see them gapping up in pre-market, and they think that there's some big edge longing them, like they're so strong. I would say maybe like, what, 1 out of 3 end up going up. So statistically, it's not like a profitable play. But they look at it in hindsight, and then they act like their penny stock strategies are going to work. It's just mostly nonsense, guys. It's mostly nonsense. You know, again, some of them are even like, hey, I just like teaching. Like, I don't even trade a real account anymore, guys. I just like teaching here. You know, it seems kind of crazy to me, right? Yeah. It's like, hey, guys, I'm going to sell you a course on how to trade stocks, right? It's going to cost thousands of dollars. Yet, I just like teaching. I don't like actually trading, right? Of course, anybody, I can take a demo account and run that thing up to $1 million because there's literally no fear, no risk. I can just keep adding to my positions over time. It doesn't freaking mean anything, you know? But some new traders mostly, like new traders, they end up falling for it because they hear about, this is what happened to me. And again, I wish I would have known about Top Step and futures because I would have saved so much money. Because there's no PDT rule. I can trade these funded account programs. I'm still probably going to lose. But it's a lot cheaper to lose on Top Step. $50 risk for the base account. And that's similar to like paying for a demo account anyway. But if you pass it, you get all these different benefits like 90% split. You get to keep your first 10K in profit. It just teaches you how to trade. On Top Step X, there's literally no commissions as well. So you can trade micro contracts and trade small. And that's a huge edge. And if you want to check it out, here's the link. They're an affiliate of mine. I'm biased. I get paid by them, so I'm the top 3 most biased ever in the world. But understand CFTC 4.41 hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations. Also, guys, look at Bitcoin running up. I'm going to get back to that previous conversation. I am going to get back to that previous conversation. But look at Bitcoin, chat. Look at Bitcoin, man. Bitcoin shooting up. Testing 100K for Bitcoin futures right now. But no, what ends up happening to most traders is that I know I watched the movie The Big Short and I was like, ooh, I can make money in the stock market. I was a poker player, chess player. I love poker, chess, checkers, strategy games in general, right? And so when I heard about that, I was like, hey, I can do the same thing, but in a bigger scale, right? Like it's kind of the adult chessboard, right? Or the adult poker table or whatever it is. I can do it on a larger scale. So I ended up like learning about stocks. And the first thing I Google is day trading. And what do I get? I get Tim Sykes, I get Warrior Trading, I get Financial Freedom. And so I'm thinking I can buy some of these penny stocks and just get rich, right? I'm thinking it's the same thing as buying Apple or Amazon. And so, but I can just have a value. I could just buy in cheaper, guys. And so, some people start accumulating the worst companies in the world, right? Like if something's under $10 with a low float, it is not a good company almost ever, right? Most good stocks were never penny stocks, right? Like Tesla IPO'd. There's the historical chart makes it look different, but Apple, Amazon, Tesla, maybe Tesla's different, but Apple, Amazon, Nvidia, most of these stocks were never under $10 a share. Never under $10 a share. They immediately IPO'd and they were well above penny stock prices, right? And so if you find a company that is under $10 a share with a low float, it is almost certainly not a good company, and it will almost certainly fail over time. But the misconception that people have is that all stocks kind of start off as penny stocks, and then they just kind of grow to be a teen stock, mid cap, and then they grow to blue chips, right? When most healthy companies are never, ever penny stocks, right? Most. There's always outliers, and I'm sure the chat's going to mention the outliers. But the point is, never invest in penny stocks. Day trading penny stocks is wild and risky. They can get halted, manipulated. Because there's a low float, they can be manipulated by big money. And so if I told everybody to buy a super low float penny stock, I could probably influence that penny stock. And if I buy it 30 minutes before I tell everybody else to buy it, I could front load that penny stock and get rich. And it's kind of a legal gray area. And that's what a lot of penny stock gurus do, is they say, hey guys, look at ABC stock. Look how great it is. I'm buying it here, when really they bought it 30 minutes ago. They pump it up, and then they unload on the extra liquidity they get from their following buying it up. And then half of the people end up holding the bag and just dumping it. And then some of them take pictures of the profits they make from this and then use that as credibility to sell them a course on top of it. They say, hey, look, I made 30K. It's like, yeah, well, you made it pumping and dumping a low float penny stock by front loading, but you're going to make it seem like you're getting rich from your day trading strategies when nobody else can really do that. And it's kind of manipulative, right? But the whole market's just sketchy. And some people buy it hook, line, and sinker, right? Like confirmation bias is so strong from people who have fallen for these things and like watch these guys, right? Like people who have fallen for it, confirmation bias is so strong. Like they want to believe that they found value from some of these schemers. But the truth is they haven't. And if I spend $6K on a course, it doesn't matter what's in that course. I'm going to pretend it's the best course ever because I spent $6,000 on it, right? If I buy a cupcake for $1,000 for $1K, that's the best cupcake I ever had. It might taste terribly, but in my mind, it's the best cupcake ever. And that's the nature of penny stock gurus. And I try to go through this at least once a month. Sometimes I miss out on it, but it's absolutely true. A lot of people do well trading small caps. Do they really? Or are they trying to grow a following online, Ren? The problem is that, like, if you're trying to grow a following online, you tend to exaggerate your gains and minimize your losses. And so it's one of the reasons I always tell people, hey, I'm the worst ever trader. I don't want that pressure. I don't show people my actual like profit or loss regularly because I don't want that pressure. I don't even claim to be a good trader, right? Pressure kills profit. I don't want that pressure. And so, yeah, the issue with penny stocks is you can have T1, T2 volatility halts, trading pauses, circuit breakers. They can be manipulated, pumped, dumped, high breaks, liquidity grabs, like all kind of really sketchy things happen in penny stocks that don't necessarily happen in the futures market or happen in larger cap stock land, right? Like most of the time, you can't manipulate NVIDIA. You could tell everybody to buy NVIDIA as much as you want. It's not going to influence it ever. That's the difference. And so you just got to be careful in those markets, man. It's really predatory. I try to tell people where I'm biased. Like I have an affiliate. Top Step's great, right? But most day traders lose. It doesn't matter whether they're trading penny stocks, large caps, futures. Most day traders lose, right? And that's a thing that most people got to look at objectively because most day traders lose. And that's something I try to tell people every day so that they understand. Because if you go into this with the problem with a lot of these penny stock gurus is that they act like you can get started for 5K and then turn that into 100K in a week and then ride off into the sunset a trading guru, genius, prodigy, savant, right? But that's not going to happen for almost anybody. And so they're usually just trying to get views. And I would rather just be real about it on the front end. Yeah, Top Step's valuable because again, if you were going to buy a demo with real-time data, it's going to cost about the same. It's going to cost about the same, right? You're going to buy a demo with real-time data, it's going to cost about the same as that $50 Top Step account. And so it's kind of like a souped-up demo. You make $3K in profit on that $50K demo without losing $2K first, following their rules. They'll fund you $50K, 90% split, and then everything you make after that, you get $10K in profit. You get to keep your first $10K, and then 90% afterwards. It's incredibly useful, right? Because it limits your risk. And most day traders lose. It doesn't matter what course they take, what their niche is, like whether they're trading penny stocks. Most of them are going to lose. So Top Step gives you like a middle ground of pressure to teach you how to trade, learn how to trade under pressure. But if you lose, it's not the end of the world. Like, I lost thousands from my first account. I was going to say this earlier, but I went from trading penny stocks to blue chip stocks because very quickly I realized penny stocks are crap, right? Highly manipulated, incredibly predatory, like educational space there. And so I very quickly went from like penny stocks to day trading like Tesla, Apple, Amazon, like AMD, like all these different stocks. Pretty quickly, though, I figured out that I could just trade the SPY or the Q, and the patterns are super similar to NVIDIA or Apple or Amazon, but it was more consistent. I could study it every day and read it. And then from learning how to trade the SPY and Q, then eventually I started trading futures because the futures market, there's just a lot less red tape there. So I could day trade futures, less red tape. And again, you can use these funded account programs and stuff to do it. But again, I'm biased. I get paid by them. So, I'm definitely biased. U.S. inflation data is at the top of the screen, right? Somebody's asking for it, so I'm going to show you. It is right here. Inflation data, chat. 0.4%. 0.4%. As expected, 2.9% on the year versus 2.9%. So, as expected, basically, for inflation data. I told you guys. I got to start figuring out how to monetize this apparent skill that I have of guessing inflation data correctly. I gotta figure out how to monetize that. If it looks blurry, it's on your end, bro. Hey, what's up, 7? Yeah, and again, I'm on a 7-day green streak on my funded account with them. And what I find, something that I'm really excited about, is that now I have a $200 max loss on the day. Right, a $200 max loss in the day, and so I can basically limit my risk. One of my big problems is I'll make a lot of money, I'll have a big green streak, and then I'm afraid to lose that green streak, and so I take a crazy exorbitant amount of risk and just end up going like that and destroying the account, right? But now, once I'm on a green streak of over like 2 or 3 days. And really, I'll probably just generally do this, right? Where it's, even if I'm not on a green streak, I'm going to keep my max loss at 200 per day. If I can make more than that, great. But that way, when I do have losing days, I think something that my trading has shown is that I win in more days than I lose. But now that I'm doing this, I think, I think I've just got a little bit more space to do it. You are monetizing it now. Just keep showing off that accuracy. Yeah, I guess you're right. Where's Lambo? Yeah, I mean, I expected this pullback. Remember, guys, I was trying to short. People made fun of me and said that what was I doing? But I was trying to short here. I was just a little off with my timing, just a little bit off. I was off with my sizing is what I was off with. I was trading too large. If I would have had 2 or 3 contracts as opposed to 5, I probably would have caught most of this, but it's all good. We got a couple videos. Just check our video content, MLT. So yeah, just check our video content, brother. All right, guys. All right, chat. Yeah, so we did have CPI out. Let me switch the stream. Bitcoin tapped 100K in futures and then came all the way back down. I'm gonna buy this. I'm a little bit late. I should have bought it a minute ago. I'll try to add to it. This is a combine account, so I gotta make basically 1,500 one day, 1,500 the next. I know we're gonna swing for the fences here. It's probably a little risky, but that's all right. If this one doesn't work, I'll probably just sit tight and wait for the opening bell. That tends to be where my better trades come from, and I'll probably just pivot to a funded account afterwards. I think I'm making the same mistake I did the first one, which is I'm trading a little bit too large. But we got a cushion on the day is what I'm trading into, so we have a $400 or $500 cushion. And so I can trade and see if we get a rebound back up, and we're all good either way. I don't think we do have some Fed members speaking. Is there a major difference between trading the NASDAQ futures contract and the NASDAQ 100 as day trading? Well, I mean, the NASDAQ 100 is an index. And so it's kind of like the S&P 500 where you can't necessarily trade it directly. You got to figure out there's ETFs based around it, but you can't buy it directly. Like I can't buy NDX right now. It's not purchasable. I can buy the QQQ, which is a ETF based around the NASDAQ 100. I can buy the NASDAQ futures contract, which is a futures contract based around the NASDAQ 100. But I can't necessarily buy the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ 100 like directly. It's an index. Hey, thank you, Jason. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you, man. Yeah, we got a big cushion in this account already. I want to see if it bounces. And I don't necessarily think the next inflation report is going to come in good. But we'll see. We're still pretty close to flat on the day now. This is a challenge account, Heli, so this is not a live account. And so I'm just going to manage it myself. It's not like I'm down 700 real dollars here. you know. And this is the benefit of Top Step, is that if I was trading a live account, I'd lose so much more, you know. All right, I'm going to start to limit my size here. We got out a little piece of it. Now we're about flat on the day. That way we can be a little bit more loose, try to let it work a little bit more. Yeah, you can connect it, but if you're going to sign up, use Top Step X through my link, and it's 0 commissions. There's no commissions. Yeah, the market did tend to like the numbers, it seems, but it's also kind of variance heavy. Like, they were pretty much flat, and I think the next inflation report's going to get worse. But who knows? MicroStrategy, yeah. Sailor, smart guy. It's up big too today. It's been going back up over the last like 3 days, 2 days. I don't know what I want to do. I guess I'll add to this and just kind of risk it. Try to fix my average, but I don't necessarily like it. But again, it's $50 to me, which is not a huge sum of money. I mean, I don't really like losing it. But to give some pre-market entertainment, I guess I'm okay with it. Again, if I lose this, I'm sure people are going to tell me everything I did wrong, and then I'm the worst trader ever, and then, you know. But we'll see what happens. Honestly, one thing I did notice is that we had a lot more people tuning in for inflation data today, dude. We had almost 7,000 people watching it at its peak. And so it's really interesting how many people we have that are paying attention to the inflation data. You know, we grew by almost 600 subscribers today. We have over 30,000 viewers so far on this live stream. So it's kind of crazy how much interest we have for inflation data today. Yeah, we're just gonna let this one go. I was hoping we get a rebound. I like a rebound there too. We gave back a lot, and so I do still like a rebound. But one thing I do like is I actually like this level as a resistance and support line. So we'll draw that, and then we'll just let it sit. John the Enter Trader. You got the juice, John? Where's Tupac at? Alright, well, we got about $1,000 to go here before it tops us out. I'm curious to see, like, I'm surprised we didn't go up more. There goes Bitcoin starting to rise here. Let me see if there's any other news that dropped today. I know we have some Fed speakers. Citigroup CFO says consumer has proven to be quite resilient. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon says succession path is up to board and not just about him, and expects to stay around for a few more years. Okay, so we're right back up there. Now we're kind of flat. I'm still going to hold this, but we got 9 minutes left. I don't really want to hold it through the opening bell, though. There's too much volatility that comes from that. The market didn't ignore CPI pre-2020. Like, I just didn't cover it back then, but the market didn't ignore it. I did kind of change the trend where a lot of people that didn't used to cover CPI are now covering CPI. The issue is that most of them, like a lot of these guys, don't actually understand economics in a certain way, though, and so they're just kind of piggybacking off of interest. But some of them do, right? Like, I'm not saying all of them. But one thing that I've helped with is a lot more people are paying attention to economic data than did before. Some of them are copying me and other big streamers, but But yeah. I like 50K ones. So this is a 50K one. And again, I'm just trying to be patient. Like, I scaled down to 3 contracts and then I added back on the dip, but well, the market likes CPI for sure. It went up big from it, but whether it continues to hold is, up to anybody's guess. So my mother-in-law ended up buying me one of these mics. Tell me whether I should use this or not, chat. So my mother-in-law ended up buying me one of these mics for Christmas. Should I use it or not? It's a blue, so it's, should I use this or not? I don't know where the back cord was. It's a studio mic, a podcast mic. What do you guys think? I'm not really a super mic person. I don't really know much about them. I use kind of like a generic mic, but what do you guys think? Yeah, I gotta find the cords for it. I don't know what I do with the cords. I have to go look. Yeah, I gotta find those cords. I've tried one as a musician. Well, I'm sure for like musicians or rappers or music, I'm sure it's better because it's a studio mic, right? But what I'm podcast format or like a live stream format is what I'm curious about. Because some of them, like the sensitivity is a little bit difficult to use it in that way. You want to hear some bars, bro? You gotta pay more for that, dude. Yeah. Yeah, I'll try it. All right, guys. You guys ready? Again, we are going to be on Top Step TV later on today, so we are going to be on there later on today. Kind of back and forth. We got 5 minutes left, though. I'm a little nervous about this. All right, so there we go. All right, we got a nice little pop up here, but took another half off. I'm gonna add some to this too. Take another little piece off there. Patience ended up winning here. I'm gonna get out the rest of there just because we're close to the opening bell. So I did end up making money here, believe it or not. I ended up making, yeah, we're up $500 on this thing now. So my trade was correct. My rebound trade was correct. It was a little emotional though. So as soon as I saw myself in deep profit, we took it. Just because we got 4 minutes left until the opening bell. I'm not really trying to sit on that. I'll trade this until 5-10 minutes pass, and then I'll trade my regular account. I'm a top 3 trader. Call me Darth Vader. When I'm on the mic, you know I'm going to strike. I just click buttons and let the candles fight. With CPI, I'm always right, you know? Bars, guys, bars, you know? Hey. All right. Yeah, data's out. 2.9%. Yeah. candlestick bars. You know. Does Powell speak at all this week? No, Powell's not speaking. Powell speaks next week. Powell speaks 2 weeks from now. Almost exactly. He speaks on the 29th, 2 weeks exactly from now. Yeah, Powell speaks in 2 weeks from now. You guys red or green today? Chat, red or green today? Let me know. All right, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. All right, so we got green, green, red, green, red, green, green, green. Looks pretty green, red, green so far. Yeah. Will we have an 8-day green streak in a row? Chat, 8-day green streak in a row. We'll see. Oh, y'all want to see my jiu-jitsu skills, guys? I'll show you after the bell. I got a couple. Yeah, I think the next CPI report is going to be much worse than this, probably, but who knows, man? You never know, but I'm guessing CPI next month is going to be worse. All right, here's the open. Yeah, we got 10 seconds. All right, there's the bell. All right, guys, here we go. All right, market's down a little bit here, chat. Market's down. All right. Yeah, so we're again, I'm gonna wait 5 minutes. I'll bore you guys with my jiu-jitsu skills while we're waiting here, if you guys want to see them. This is me rolling against a blue belt at my gym, if you guys want to see it. So yeah, I'm good at arm bars. So look, I pull guard, I immediately arm bar him. He was kind of joking around, but I don't think he was ready for it. I've gotten good at arm bars from guard, so I immediately pivot my hips, arm bar him right here. He taps, and then he like wrestles me for a little bit, and he tries to kind of like, I'm not gonna say slam me. He tries to kind of slam me right here, but he loses his balance, and I kind of end up scrambling and taking him down. So he tries to pull me up there. and I just ended up taking him down. And then he tries to scramble here, and I ended up taking his back. And then he doesn't think I have it, but look at the market rebound back up here, chat. Market's rebounding back up. I keep kind of scrambling with him a little bit here. Finally end up taking him down. I try to go for a bow and arrow choke here. But he's heavy, so it's kind of hard to get that other leg over. But you can see I have this grip right here, this collar grip. But now he's not really. He's a little nervous now.
Throw your right leg over, John.
And then I get the tap again. Yeah, market's still sideways, flat.
Oh, you got 2 minutes, John. So you've been toying on this before. Throw your leg and then
Yeah. Jiu-Jitsu's fun, man. It's a lot of fun. I recommend everybody train. It's fun. It's like chess. It really is. It's kind of like chess. Yeah, things are so high. I'm not really interested in buying up anything. I'm trying to kill time right now before I trade even. I don't want to trade right now, too. It's too volatile. Things look strong, to be honest. Like the SPY looks strong. Bitcoin looks strong. Nvidia is looking a little weak, though. But I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. No, I like the Peruvian necktie. I actually catch the Peruvian on a lot of different people, to be honest. Yeah, I actually catch it on a lot of different people. No, that's an actual submission pawn. So that's like a real submission. It's not anything weird. It's an actual submission. It's actually a submission I use pretty regularly. You get yourself in front headlock position and you C-grip your arms like this. And then you throw your leg over them and fall back on your back and use your arms as like a necktie like this to finish it. I actually love using that submission. Better in no gi though, but I've hit it in gi a couple times as well. Anyways. Yes, Zachary. Yeah, he's more experienced than me as a blue belt, yes. All right, so we got a little dip. Again, things are kind of looking strong. I want to see if Nvidia bounces at this 200 exponential though. We're still in a period where I have no freaking idea. I don't like that Nvidia move, so I'm going to short. There we go. I'm going to add to this short too. Hopefully it doesn't retrace too much here. Very risky position for me at the opening bell here. But we got some cushion on the day, so we'll try to... we just took most of that off. 2 contracts now. We limited our size pretty big here. I don't want to risk. Flat. There we go. All right, so we ended up making $400 or $500 again right there. We're now up about 800 on the day. Yeah, I've seen a couple people go out. I love bow and arrow chokes, and but they're super nasty in that like people go out quick. And so I was rolling with a purple belt once, and he just didn't tap. He just didn't tap. I got him in a bow and arrow, fully locked in, didn't tap. Pretty quickly he was out, and he kind of woke up, and we kind of woke him up, and yeah, he should have tapped. I was a white belt at the time, and so he was probably a little bit prideful, didn't want to tap to the white belt. But that type of choke, you have to tap quickly. You can't get your pride in the way, or yeah, or you're gonna wake up on the mat a couple seconds later, which is what happened. I'm basically just playing really short-term price action right now. I don't know what Nvidia's fallen down here, but I'm gonna take 1 contract here, just because Nvidia's hitting that previous close. I might take 2 here, Nvidia's hitting that previous close. I think we could bounce right here. But I might be wrong. Look at this drop. Wow. I'm going to take half of this off and just accept the loss. So now we're kind of flat on this. We're green on the day still, I'm pretty sure. That's a drop. I'm going to do something I would never do on a real account, which is size in here. If it wrongs, it means I lose the challenge, but it could potentially save me from... Don't ever do this on a real account. Oof. Yeah, this might... I took the risk. I'm going to pivot to my actual funded account, but small. That's basically it, I think, right now. Just a lot more red action than I thought. So the market's basically giving it all back. Yeah. It's all right. Again, it's just a challenge account. We're going to switch to our regular account. And trade small. All right, so we're finally in our regular account. It's almost 10 minutes into the day. But we're going to trade small. I'm going to switch to micros here. Might have a little bit too many levels drawn here, but that's all right. See if we can cut some of these. All right. You said there's a clear button on this. Isn't there a way to clear all these levels out? Somebody told me this the other day. I want to start redoing my levels here, chat. Well, Michael, anybody's correct sometimes. If you keep throwing darts at a dartboard, you'll hit it eventually. It doesn't mean he's accurate. Right click on the chart. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm going to redo some of these recent levels here now. So I'm still going to draw some levels, but I needed to clear some out there. All right, so now we'll get a little bit shorter term. We could have caught that bounce too. All right, these are my levels now. Market's rebounding all the way back up. We could have choppiness, I guess, today too. We're gonna short one contract here. Again, we got a $200 max loss on the day. I'm gonna have to cut this if it doesn't work. I was hoping this would be a resistance level here that we drew, but gotta be very close to cutting this. Yeah, we're out. We lost 20 bucks there. Small. The bullish strength is too strong. It might be from the Fed member speaking. Let me see. Goldman CEO says meaningful shift in confidence, particularly resulting from the U.S. election. The current president says the U.S. will protect pension benefits for 91,000 workers. All right, so we're still heading up here. There's a lot of strength showing up. Nvidia is going all the way back over the volume weighted average price. So we're just going to start trading with the trend and look for pullbacks to attack if we can get some good support levels. He lost 5 million in minutes. Who? Who did? Yeah, I mean, we're not going to make money every day. I hope I'm going to put it out there. We're going to make money today in this funded account. We're going to be green again today. I'm just going to put that out into the universe. But, again, we're on a 7-day green streak in a row. All right, we're going to short this real quick. Short. Hoping we get a rejection back down. I was going to go long and attack the trend, but the range is a little bit smaller today, actually. Should have bought the dip, I think. Yeah, we got to get out that. So we're down about $40 now. I like we're at the top of the range, and I do like a short here, to be honest. But like the strength we've seen over the last like 3 or 4 candles is too much. Should have bought that support level dip we had right there. High inflation is typically worse for Tesla. Higher production costs. But I mean, there can be some positive benefits to it as well. Tesla can raise prices a little bit better than most, so it's mixed, but generally high inflation is worse for companies. Yeah, big strengths here. I'm gonna wait until I find a better edge right now, though. Alright, so we're not deep enough for me to want to buy it yet. I would think about shorting it down to this level here with a risk level up here, but I'm going to wait. Things have shown to be a little bit different today. SPY still heading up. Nvidia still looking strong. Yeah, stay safe, Corey. Have a good day, brother. Everyone always acts like jobs weren't seasonal and spending was up because of the season. Yeah, but you compare year over year to gauge it. Year over year takes away the seasonality influence of it. You can look at what it was the previous month, but year over year takes away the seasonality of it. I'm going to short this. I'm going to try to short it down to my level. I keep going kind of against my plan. My risk level's right here at 313. My reward target's about a 1-to-1 ratio down here at 75, maybe a little bit higher at 780 or 78. But I'm also kind of trading against the momentum, so I'm not really loving it right here. And I will cut this early if I need to, and just kind of sit out if I'm not having good results this morning. We're right around my risk level here. I'm not going to add to this either. I'm just not having good results, to be honest, today. Kind of trading against the trend. But look, some days are just not good. Some days I'm not going to trade well. And we're right at my risk. I'll let it test it once. Yeah, I got to cut it. I think, honestly, my trading's just not good today. I haven't had good results. I've been trading against the trend, but the momentum's coming a little bit too strong. I like the risk reward ID here, which again, my risk was here. My reward target was here, and we got in about here. So it was a good risk reward trade, but yeah, just not trading well today. Definitely top 3 worst trading ever today. Yeah. Yeah, market's ripping up too. Looks good. Looks good. Yeah, I mean, Guy and Van, listen, man. You know, I've heard you all day. And I get it. You might be a little upset that the market's moving up. Your argument is that the market's reacting the wrong way. You know, there's a couple things that you seem to misunderstand, though. Number one, which is that analysts have different expectations, right? Like Market Watch had the CPI expected at 0.3% month over month, which is one of the ones I threw out there. Bloomberg had it expected at 0.4% month over month, right? But again, that has a little bit to do with seasonality. We're looking at December, which is Christmas's inflation, right? When you look at year over year, it tends to curb that, and that came in roughly as expected. And so I get it. You're not really happy the market's reacting positively to inflation data, brother. Like, I get it. But, like, you know, you're getting a little bit too emotional about it, it seems. That's, like, all you've talked about all day. And, like, I understand. But, like, you know, we came in essentially flat as expected on inflation data, right? We either came in flat or lower than expected in a lot of ways, according to Bloomberg's, right, which is 0.2% versus 0.3% for core. Last time it showed up at 0.3%, so it actually slowed month to month for core CPI, which excludes food and energy. Year over year, we came in lower than last time. Last time was 3.3. They expected 3.3. We showed up at 3.2%. Regular CPI was basically flat, 0.4%. Versus 0.3% last time and 0.4% this time. So maybe you could argue that one was worse. Regular CPI year over year came in as expected as well. And so that's what the numbers are reacting to, you know. And again, they're enough in a range to be flat to where there's going to be variance in the reactions, right? We can go up, we can go down, we can go sideways, right? Like they're not a big discrepancy enough to cause a bear reaction like you're saying, brother. You know what I mean? And yeah, also guys, for everybody else at home, like again, I'm on a 7-day green streak. I'm not really going to push it today though in this account. I think I'm just going to accept that I might be losing today. But just to put this into perspective for everybody at home who thinks I'm just the worst trader ever today and I need to retire or I need to give up and it's the worst ever and I need to go back to school, you know, whatever you guys are trying to say. Just to clarify, this is my graph, okay? So you can't be silent, go back to school, you suck, basically. That is some of you guys in chat today. Listen, and it's all love. You know, I hate you forever, but it's all love, okay? It's all love. But just, I guess the point I'm trying to say, context, people. All right, context. I'm going to sit out, though. I don't think I'm going to trade anymore. I'm just not reading the market good today. And that's all right. Everybody's not green constantly. Yeah, Empire State Manufacturing was worse than expected for manufacturing for sure. But it's not a super important report. It's one of the less relevant reports that we get. Here's the narrative. All inflation expectations are overblown due to the tariffs. We sell when tariffs news comes in and buy into CPI. Yeah, I don't know. Market's been up a crazy amount, though. Hey, thank you, Ray. Hey, I love you all, too. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. Your sarcasm is funny, very entertaining. Hey, thanks so much, bro. I appreciate it. We try over here. YouTube's hilarious though, dude. It really is. Like, I could make money 6-7 days in a row, and some people never say it. Like, you can tell how many people are just like deeply insecure, because you can make money every freaking day. Coming from the top 3 most insecure dude ever right now, so I would know. All right, you can make money every single day. The one red day you have in 7 days. Apparently, I need to study more. I'm just the worst trader of all time, I guess. Definitely today, I am, honestly. My trading sucked today. I'm definitely not a good trader today. Luckily, though, I traded mostly challenge accounts in pre-market. Yeah, I'm here to make money for sure. I mean, that's what I'm doing. Like, honestly, to be completely real, I've made more money than all of this stuff outside of trading regardless. It's always a green day for me. It really is. It doesn't matter how much I lose. It's always a green day. Oppositional defiance disorder? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm assuming you're saying the people in chat are the ones that are like that. I think the easier way to put it is just misery loves company, man. Unhappy people want other people to be unhappy. Like, some of the biggest haters I've ever ran into in life were people who were really struggling. I knew a guy who, again, his business basically fell off a cliff when the Fed started doing rate hikes after 2022. And bro, that dude was one of the biggest, like, jealous, like, insecure, freaking spiteful, resentful people I've ever met. I've had a couple people that were like, again, they were just struggling, man, and I feel for them, right? Like, I remember when I was struggling. It's not a fun thing. Like, struggling's tough. Struggling's a struggle, I guess is the easiest way to put it. But yeah, I wish you guys the best, man. If you're struggling in life, though, like, it's going to be much better to just build yourself up. Stop worrying about what other people are doing. Stop worrying about what I'm doing, you know, and just figure it out for yourself, right? If you spent half the energy, like, building yourself up, you could do so much more, you know. So, cheers to you. Top 3 worst psychologists in the world right now telling you this. But it's the truth. My bars are the greatest ever, though, for sure. My bars were hot. My trading wasn't. You know, that's all I'm saying. MU ripping up? Is it really? Honestly, I really know some people that have, I'm pretty sure they do have defiance personality disorder. Like, bro, I could tell them, hey, can you do this for me? And just because I want them to do it, they're going to do something else, right? No, nobody in my immediate family. But, like, some people just do what they, like, they just don't ever want to listen to anybody. But what I notice is that it puts them in, like, consistently worse situations. Palantir's starting to break down. We did get that big pullback. Again, I don't want to trade right now, though. I'm not trying to push buttons today. Listen to this song. You guys like this song or no? Oh, I was a freaking dummy in my 20s, bro. Honestly, having kids was a profound thing in my life. Because before I had children, I was just not a good person. I don't think I was a bad person. I think I was just struggling, right? So it's hard to be nice to people when you're struggling. It's hard to be good to people when you're struggling. But having kids changes you in a way that's good. In that, like, before you have children, completely selfish minded, like, everything's about self, right? Like, once you actually have children, it's the complete opposite. Like, everything's about the kids, you know, and that's a good thing to do, man. That'll put your mind right. That'll make your mind right. That'll change who you are. Because I know people that haven't had kids, and everybody's different. Some people don't want to have kids, don't need to have kids, shouldn't have kids, and that's okay. But I know some people that haven't had kids, and like they do not know how to think about other people at all. It's purely themselves. They don't know how to do anything with other people. It's pure me, 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 me. And like I think, again, not trying to get too deep, but something that helped my life is when I think if you put good stuff out there, you get good stuff back, right? If you put goodness out there, you get goodness back. You put bad stuff out there, you get badness back. You get negativity back. And so I think narcissism is over labeled. Top 3 worst sideways traders. Top 3 line struggling is a struggle. Yeah. I think my discipline's getting better though. Like, look, I had a bad day. I had a bad day trading, and so I shut it down before I lost too much money. I ended up losing today. Let's see. $85. That's a pretty small loss. It's not the biggest. Oh, dude, narcissism is definitely over-labeled. Everybody who breaks up with their spouse, their significant other, my spouse was a narcissist, right? Like, everybody's calling their spouse a narcissist. I think the reality is you're just mad, you know? And maybe you're justifiably mad. Maybe they're a jerk, right? But it doesn't mean they're a narcissist. It's wildly over-labeled right now. You know how rare narcissism is? It's not super common, you know? Kids are not the solution, and I disagree. Do you have kids, MU? And it's okay if you don't, right? But everybody's different, man. Some people are not meant to have kids. But others, it's going to be good for a lot of people too. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be on Top Step TV later on at 11 today. One out of 100 is actually pretty more common than people realize, but it's certainly not everybody's ex. I think when people are upset about a breakup, they end up just labeling their spouse and that, and I think it's wildly overstated. Yeah, I mean, like, I've known some people who will literally, genuinely never, ever, ever admit they're wrong, right? And I think that's a red flag for narcissism for sure, right? Because I think, like, even though I don't think I'm wrong very much, I will tell you I'm wrong if I'm wrong, if I think I'm wrong. And while that might not be as common as some people like it to be, I certainly will admit if I'm wrong about something. I've met some people who will absolutely never, ever, ever admit they're wrong about anything ever. Even if, like, the blatant facts are right in front of them, they're never going to say they're wrong. And so, you know, I've met people that never apologize, never say they're wrong, will always try to turn it on you, you know. And again, I don't know if it could be like borderline personality as well. Like there's a lot of stuff it could be. I don't think we should immediately jump to narcissism. And borderline personality is kind of like the opposite, in which like borderline people are oversensitive to emotions. They have an oversensitivity to emotion versus some narcissists which have an undersensitivity to it and empathy, right? The easiest way to put it is like, do you have empathy? I always look at my kids and test my kids for empathy. And I think that's something that most people should do. Most of my kids have empathy, though. My daughter cries too much. I love her, but she cries way too much, right? But she'll watch a sad movie and cry, which is kind of normal. But she'll see pictures of my son when he was a little baby and cry because she misses him. You know, she like misses those days. And so that's a good sign, right? I'd rather you have too much empathy than not enough. Market's still ripping up, breaking highs here. Do you know anybody with borderline? I mean, I don't know. Again, I really don't know. It's hard to tell. Borderline's a little bit different, right? I know some people that certainly have some tendencies. Whether it's full blown, I don't know. Yeah, I might disagree with some of the stuff you say, BB, but I'm never going to call you names for it. You know, the nature of market is disagreement, though. Like, everybody disagrees about everything, and it's all good. For which one, Guy and Van? For BPD? Maybe. Yeah. I've told it before. I'll test my kids. Like, if I'll be like, hey, Jack, give me a hug. And he'll be like, no. Like, he's mad about something. And then I'll, like, walk away sad. He feels bad and runs up and hugs me and says, hey, I love you, Daddy. And I'm like, okay. Like, you know. And so that's a good sign, too, right? But I think it's so much of it is environmental. Nature versus nurture, I think, is really what it is. And so it depends on how well your kids feel taken care of. Genetics influence a lot of it as well, but especially with BPD. But the rest is just how well they feel taken care of. If they feel well taken care of and they're shown love, usually they'll show it back to people. It's a cycle. Anyways, yeah, I'm about to go. I mean, I'm trying not to trade, Rez, so I know you want me to talk about stocks. I'm trying to talk about anything besides stocks right now because I got beat up when I tried to trade today. I'll be on Top Step TV at 11, guys, 11. So I will be on Top Step TV at 11. I might trade my other funded account, though, so I can kind of maintain this one. But, yeah, tune in at 11. I think it's at 11. Let me see. It might be at 11:15. Bear with me, chat. Pun intended, I guess. Yeah, it's going to be 11:15 Central Time today. 11:15 Central Time today. Yeah, I'll be on. I'll see you guys over there. Also, guys, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Thanks so much. I appreciate the love. Yeah, if you haven't already, hit the sub button. Hit the notification bell. I appreciate it. If you want to check out Top Step, they're an affiliate or sponsor of mine. I'm certainly biased in their favor because I get paid by them. So definitely biased in their favor. But again, if you want to check it out, I'll put the link up. Great way to help support your boy here in this channel. No PDT run futures. You can day trade the S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the Russell, gold. Very similar to day trading stocks. It's the easiest way to learn day trading without taking as much risk as most traders do, which is thousands and thousands of dollars in losses or risks. Instead of doing that, try a funded account program. If you take the demo and you make $3K in profit on the base one without losing $2, you get funded. If you fail, you only lose the subscription, which is $50. Not the end of the world. If you pass it, 90% split, similar to funding your own account. And the biggest edge in funding is zero commission. If you want to check it out, here's the link. Yeah, no, again, like, we talk about a lot of different stuff on this stream. If I only talked about stocks and finance, it'd get really dull and boring really quickly. So, like, we have these deep conversations, and I think they're good conversations, right? I think they're fun conversations to have. They're more interesting than just saying super focused on just the market. Especially, again, market's up. We covered all the economic data, all the trading data. We traded, we lost, and that's okay. But, yeah. We're going to talk about other stuff. I love you all. You'll have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow, guys. So listen, the economic data is not done. All right. Tomorrow, we have jobless claims, unemployment, retail sales data. Tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Tune in. We'll be here. We'll be ready. 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Jobless claims, retail sales. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good.